development goals. May I add at this point that our desire at ABD Foundations is to see students and even lecturers showing more passion towards these innovative ideas. We believe that by doing this, we'll be able to position Nigeria to take advantage of this glass era, all the things that we lost in the steel age. Thank you very much.
Very much, Mr. Okuwobi, for that beautiful and brief presentation. Now, we may now need to go to the keynote address for GlassFUTURE 2023 to be delivered by the chairman, BOT Ackline Beehive Design Foundation, Architect Adeolu Okulaja. Please, can you come forward for your presentation?
Hello. Good afternoon. Good morning, everybody. Oh, good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to at least see a couple of faces, a couple of familiar faces, a couple of new faces. And I want to tell you that this is a very exciting time. I'm happy that you have taken the time out to come, because I know that this event is one of the ones that will be very impactful for you in your life. We started this journey, like Mr. Okuwobi said, about a year ago when we celebrated the International Year of Glass, which is the mandated United Nations celebration. We had it exactly on this day in 2022. And I want to say that it was a very, very notable event where we had dignitaries from the UN, we had dignitaries from the government, and we also had the private stakeholders come to speak. But now we are moving on to another era, I would say, where we are exploring things about mobility and the built environment. You know, how does glass feature in mobility? How does glass feature in the built environment? Some of you might have an idea, but I would go against the norm, and I will not tell you at this time. What I want you to do is to take the QR code on your program for the students and to scan that code. When you get that code, you will get an alert or a notification where you will be to join one of these labs that we have. So we have what we call the Urban X Lab. The other is Mobility X Lab. Are more educative in nature. They are where you will do experimentation, where you will learn about a lot of things from specific stakeholders. And one of them is actually here. Maybe he stepped out for a few minutes. He's the representative of Hyundai Nigeria, and they have one of their vehicles outside there. I'm sure you must have maybe glimpsed the car. It's the red one outside, you cannot miss it. He's going to actually also give us a presentation later on and tell us the full aspects of how they developed that car and how the electric future is the way that we should go in Nigeria. If I may, I'll also say a few words in terms of what we are here to talk about today. So I would say that, you know, more than half of the world's population now currently lives in urban areas. This percentage, we are projected to increase this percentage is increased dramatically the health of our planet and its inhabitants. And the activity that foster sustainable outcomes is a necessity for us to have a habitable environment in the future. We have an opportunity to respond in a sustainable way by working to build infrastructure, to foster human interactions and connectivity, and partner for a change, to dig deeper in particular areas of impact and of interest. We have what we now call the Circular Glass Innovation Hubs, which is these posters behind me. You might be wondering what this means. We are focusing on circularity because glass is one of the most sustainable materials which can be recycled over and over again. Hence, we have circular. Now, we don't want to stop there on the surface of the material by just telling you, oh, glass is circular, you can recycle it. There is a lot more that we need to dig deeper into glass. You can actually infuse a lot of technology in glass. In cars, we have antennas in the windscreen. In buildings, we have solar panels in the windows, like the ones we see here. These are just ordinary glass panes. But for the future, these glass panes should be able to provide electricity for the building that we are currently in. And it is in these circular glass hubs that will start to develop. It's my hope that all the students here and also even the lecturers would have an opportunity to have very, very fruitful discussions on how to be innovative with glass. This is not a classroom, but this is an avenue and a place where we have those sort of interactive decisions or discussions. So you can ask any question you want. You know, how can I use glass? But to know that, you need to know the properties of glass. And that is something that is very important. And that is what we're doing in the circular glass hubs in University of Lagos. Now, to go a bit deeper, what we're doing particularly for GlassFUTURES 2023 is we want to glimpse how we can achieve what we call sustainable transport systems, which is basically the intersection of glass innovation, mobility systems, and the built environment. The sustainable transport system, I will shorten it as STS, are multimodal models that support walking, cycling, and other forms of active transport in mobility, such as skating and wheelchairs, as well as public transportation by air, land, and sea, and also rail, in addition to the use of private vehicles. Innovations and interventions towards sustainable transport systems are aimed at improving people's health and well-being, protecting the environment, and also addressing climate change. The innovation that we want for sustainable transport systems would have broad impacts on mitigating climate change. Now, on the local level here, our presentations today will focus on the discussions for our theme, which is GlassFUTURES. And we will be focusing our attention on ways where we can establish the frameworks for the production of electric vehicle design and development in Nigeria. I don't know whether you heard me. I said we are going to start the design and development of electric vehicles in Nigeria. Can we clap for ourselves? Because first of all, you must have an ambition. If you do not have an ambition, you don't have a pathway to go. So we are going to do that. We are also going to look at technologies for improving the properties for glass facades in our buildings. And we're going to also look at ways of innovative enterprise development within the university system. We're also going to explore the several pathways that we can achieve sustainable transport systems. On the global level, we will also have discussions on how we can progress towards the key sustainable development goals, which form the foundations of our event today. These SDGs, as they are called, include SDG 3, which is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all ages. SDG 11, which is to make cities and human settlements inclusive and safe and resilient. And other SDGs that are in this bucket include SDG 7, which includes the access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable modern energy for all. SDG 9, which is to build resilient infrastructure and promote inclusive, sustainable industrialization and foster innovation. SDG 12, which is to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. And finally, SDG 13, which is to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. Now, you would ask yourself, or we can ask the question, what do we want to achieve in GlassFUTURES 2023? I have a few answers to that. First of all, the first one is basically to strengthen the research and support the individuals that have innovative ideas for the circular glass economy. The second is to build partnerships between the university, private enterprise, and the relevant stakeholders. Another aspect is to ensure advocacy for more environmental friendly modes of transportation, which can be, and I'm sure a lot of people must have forgotten about this, you can actually walk, you know, instead of taking a campus shuttle from the gate, you can take a brisk walk from the gate to wherever you want to go on this campus. I have done it before, and I'm sure a lot of other people have done it. But if you just take, you will just find out that it doesn't take you a few minutes. But that alone, that impact can actually add to a lot of carbon that is deposited in the atmosphere. Another thing that we could do is also to look at how we can use other sustainable modes of transportation, which includes the vehicle that we have outside, which is the electric vehicle, you know. And also we need to look at how we can attract investments towards strengthening sustainable transport systems that take into account the consideration and underlying social and environmental determinants, which ensure equitable access to mobility and in reducing the disparities. For instance, improved mobility for women and children, older people, and the poor. It is our main aim to develop safe systems and approaches which places in focus on the design for sustainable systems. especially in the University of Lagos. And now we would look at what I would call some smart applications of smart glasses. Now, when I say glasses, I mean glasses in plural, where you can have a pane of glass, and then where you can have another sample of glass, but it has a lot of embedded features in it. So, to look at that, let us look at the building industry and look at how smart glasses can, play a major role. The installation of smart glass products is increasing worldwide, and property owners and developers look to integrate new technologies to enhance the overall efficiency and infrastructure of the built environment. One of the latest products to complement the energy climate initiative across the commercial and residential spaces are what we will call smart glasses. Now, these are glasses that will give you a moderation of the heat that is coming into a building, so that the amount of energy you will use for things like air conditioning will be reduced. Some of these glasses have different colors. You can see some could be colored in a gold color. They could have gases in them. They could also have some special internet devices even embedded in them. All these things are called smart glasses, and they actually form the bedrock of what we will call innovation in the built environment. Because now when you look at a building, even this building that we are in, you will see that at least 50% of the external part of the building is made of glass. Glass in our own environment in Africa, the way we use it is very different from the way we use it in Europe. But it might interest you to know that you can actually have a cooler building if you use a glass material that has been treated to take out the heat and only bring in the light. These glasses exist. The only thing that we don't have the opportunity to see them is because we don't have the technology to manufacture them here in Nigeria. But there are other people who are actually making
For the
good
past
inroads
10 years,
into that space.
we've delivered protection
Right now,
from drops, bumps, and scratches
if you want
with
to
Corning
bring in
Gorilla
glass
the
material
leading
into
smartphone
the
cover
country,
glass, which has
the
been
only
featured
company
on more than
that can
5
handle
billion
that
consumer
successfully for
electronic
you
devices.
is called
But Gorilla
horizontal
Glass's optical
tempering
clarity,
glass.
damage resistance,
And
thinness,
they
and
have
durability
joined forces
don't just
also
apply
with
to consumer
University of
electronics
Lagos
anymore.
to come
Gorilla
together to
Glass is
see how
changing
they
the
can
rules of interior
partner with us
architecture.
by,
Manufacturers
first of
such
all,
as Elevecture are
engaging
teaming up with
our
Corning
students
to deliver
for
innovative
internships
solutions for
in their
architects and
facility
designers
in
for more
Ikorodu.
design freedom and a
You will
modern
have
yet durable
glass
solution.
that will be
Today,
toughened
Corning's
to
Gorilla
a
Glass
point
has
that you
been
can
installed
actually
in a
walk on
variety
it.
of spaces, such as
And
elevator
also,
interiors and lobbies,
this is another
as a
information that you
customizable,
might not
clean,
know.
and elegant solution.
Worldwide,
To showcase some
Nigeria
of these
has
innovative
the
applications,
best
I'm here
quality
in New York
of
City at 740
ingredients
Broadway to
to
see how
make
Corning
the
and
best quality
Elevecture
glass
are
in
enhancing
the world.
interior spaces.
For those who are older,
Elevecture is a New York City-based
For those
company
who are
which
older,
laminates Gorilla
you
Glass
would
to a
note
variety
that
of materials, such
you
as
must
metal,
have heard of
wood,
a
and
company
even
called
fabric,
Olua
to create
Glass.
products such as lighting
Back
and
in the
panels
day,
for elevator
which was
interiors and
located in
lobbies,
Ondo State.
like the one I'm
Olua
in
Glass
right now.
used to produce automotive
Let's talk
glass
with Keith
for
Glevins, the
Peugeot,
commercial director
for
of
Volkswagen,
architecture at
and for
Corning.
all other
How are
cars.
Corning and
And they also
Elevecture
produce
transforming the architecture industry?
glass
with
for
architects and
building industry.
designers. Anytime
And if you also
bring in
note
new materials,
that
they love
at a
it,
certain
'cause they
time in
really
our
are
lives
artists, and
in
they're always
Nigeria,
looking for
we
something
had
new and
vehicle
different.
manufacturing
So in combination
in
with
this country.
Elevecture,
We
we've been
had
able to
one of the
introduce
only vehicle
architectural
manufacturing
solutions that really allow them the
plants
freedom
for
that they
Volkswagen.
always desire
We still have
without
that for
changing
Peugeot.
their view and what they
If we are
want to
looking
achieve.
to the future
What's
and
next
we
in
are looking to
architectural
innovation,
solutions from Corning?
We will not
Well, Maddie, as you know,
do ourselves
whenever Corning enters a
any
business or a
if we
space,
continue to
we
import
tend to
cars.
completely
We
change
can actually
it, to
produce
alter it.
these cars
And I'm
locally
convinced
here.
in architecture,
And
where we've only
I
been
know
in
that I
this a
must have
short
skipped
while, and you can see the result
environment
of
to
things
the
that we've already
mobility,
done,
but that is really
that we're
what
just
it is
getting
about.
started. The things we're going to
The
bring to
built
this
environment
market,
and
the
mobility
changes we're going to
systems
make, the
have
creativity
sort
and the
of in a
freedom we're
way
going to bring to
come
architects
together
is going to be
and
truly
they have
amazing.
formed an intersection. I would say that
I'm joined by
literally
Leanne
because
Friedman, president of
I know it must
Elevecture,
have
to
even
learn
been a
more
challenge
about how
for
Corning
some
and
of you
Elevecture
to
are
come to
elevating
this location
interior
today.
spaces to new levels.
if we calculate it,
Leanne,
most of
how is
us
Corning
live
Gorilla
most of our
Glass
lives
enabling
even in our
Elevecture
cars.
to transform
So
traditional
why
materials
would we
into
not be able to
state-of-the-art
find
architectural finishes?
Good ways
You have a wood
of
veneer
spending less time
in
in
a
the car
building or in an elevator
and
or
more
in a
time at
kitchen
home.
cabinet. It gets
But even
scratched
if you
up
have to
immediately.
spend more
With
time
the
in your
Corning
car,
Gorilla Glass,
you need to
it
find
becomes
innovative
much more
things
durable, and
that
you
you
can
can
use it
use your
in
time
so many
more
different
creatively
applications
to
now.
achieve.
It opens doors
You
to
know?
using
So
traditional
these are the
materials where
main
you hadn't
things that
been
we
able
want
to
to
use it
do here.
before.
The
With
intersection
Gorilla
is
Glass,
very, very
we've come up with all
important.
these new
And
solutions.
the last
Why is
thing
Corning Gorilla Glass a
which I would
practical
say is
solution
that
for the architecture industry?
we are
When we
looking
walk into an architect's office and we
towards
show
the
them
future,
different samples
and
of
we're
the
looking
Corning Gorilla
towards a
Glass with
future that is
Elevecture
endangered for
material
Nigeria
underneath what we've
in
decided is
terms of
laminate,
energy.
there is a look of genuine
The fortunate
excitement.
thing that we have in this
Possibilities of where
country
they can put
is
this
that we have an
durable, versatile,
abundance of
lightweight,
solar
optically clear glass throughout their
radiation.
buildings. Many times
It
they've been
behoves on
limited
us
by their
that
options
we
about
should also
the finishes in
find
the building,
time
just based on
to
the heaviness
develop
and greenness of
solar
float glass. But now
power
with Corning Gorilla
systems
Glass, the
where we
options
can
that they
capture
have
the
are
energy
limitless in terms of design
and store it
and what they want to
and
do.
use it for our buildings.
Eric
our
Garral, New York City
machinery,
building developer and
our-
owner, joins me here at
So
740
we need
Broadway.
to look at
One of
ways
more than 40
where we can
properties
look
in the
at
Garral family
materials
property
that
portfolio.
would be able
Eric,
to use
his father,
and
and his
combine
grandfather have
successfully
been on the leading edge
with
of
glass,
building
because
design
glass is
for
the
3
only
generations.
substrate material that you
Eric,
can
you
actually
sure do
build
have an eye
on
for cutting edge
that will
design.
give you
Thanks so much for
perfect,
inviting us.
Well, thanks for coming.
Why did you
capture
choose to
of
use
the energy.
Elevecture's products with Corning
If we
Gorilla
look at a
Glass
very
instead of
simple
a product
example,
with traditional
plants
architectural
out
glass?
there,
Well, I
they
think the
take
challenge
their
here was to
energy
make sure that
directly
this,
from
the
the sun,
durability of the glass was going to
and
last
they
glass
use
forever.
it
And Corning
for
really
their
met that
own
challenge, and Elevecture
use.
was smart enough to realize that that
You
was
might
exactly what was needed.
also note
What
that
impact have Elevecture's
the
products
earth,
had on your
if
commercial
we,
properties?
if we are
Well,
able
it's had a
to
really
capture
beneficial
all
impact on
the
the tenants.
sun,
The tenants really enjoy being in
sunlight
these
energy
spaces and seeing the imagery that they
from
have
the
here.
earth for
And
one
this is
day,
something we couldn't do with
it is
basically
able
without the
to
glass. So
power the
we've really seen a
whole
positive,
earth
reaction
for a
amongst the
year
people in the
as
buildings,
well.
and that's one of the things
So
that
when
we do
people
as
talk
developers.
about, oh, we don't
Why is
have
Gorilla Glass ideal
power
for
from
architectural
PCN.
spaces,
I'm
and how has it
using
changed your
petrol.
approach to building
all you
development
can do
and
is
design?
look at the sun,
Let's change our approach
see
in
how
terms
you
that the
can
tenants really want more light
capture
any way they
that
can get it,
energy
and the clarity of the glass really
and
does a great
find
job.
a way of
If you look around this
creatively
lobby,
engaging
this was just sort of a
yourself
space that
also
was designed
in
25 years ago,
entrepreneurial
and
activities.
it remained that
So
until
at this
now.
point,
And now
I
it's a
think I
place that
want
people
to
literally
leave
stop,
the floor so that other
and they
people
want to
can
have an
talk.
experience that they don't
I
normally
have
have.
a lot
Can't
to
get
say,
anywhere else in Manhattan.
and a lot
I
of
think the
people
tenants
can
really love it,
actually
and I
reach
think
out to
we're
me
going to continue to
later
design
on.
things, basically to
But
continue to
today
bring light into
is
the
for
spaces, and we're going to
the
continue to use
environment and
What
mobility.
other
Other speakers
innovative
will come and
advanced glass
speak on
technologies
other
are you
aspects
introducing in
of
your other
glass and
spaces?
recycling and
Well, we bought some
innovation.
new property out
But I
in the
want
boroughs
us
here,
to take
Williamsburg
this
and
time
Long
out
Island City. So
to
one of the
see
things
it
we're
as
going
a
to be doing
turning
is we're going to
point
be getting
so that we can
all the
actually
telecommunication
achieve
systems sort of
what
redone,
we came here
and
to
Corning
do.
has a product that we think we
How
can use out
we
there, which I
plan
think really do
for
a
the
great job
future for
with sort of
sustainability
unlimited
and for
bandwidth, which
reducing
sounds like would be a wonderful
CO2
amenity to
emissions
have for
for
tenants.
a zero
The possibilities for
economy
interior
that
architecture
does
have been
not
elevated to a
harm the
whole new
environment
level with Corning
and
Gorilla
is very
Glass and
sustainable
Elevecture.
for our own
Architects and
habitable planet
designers
here.
now have
Thank you
more
very
design
much.
freedom and flexibility to create stunning interior.
A round of applause for him. Thank you very much, Architect Okulaja. That's a very beautiful keynote address, and I believe we really enjoyed it. We've been hearing glass, 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 and of course, has been talking about having a turning point. And of course, when we talk of this, we don't really understand the way. In the built environment, it's about you understanding concrete, cement, sand, granite. And at the end of the day, you have a very solid, slab that could withstand and support our living. So in essence, we do ask, this glass, what is it all about? My dear friends, when you hear glass, think of sand. We are just talking
Mobility
sand.
is an inherent part
That
of
glass you
human
have been
condition.
hearing
As
is the common
individuals,
sand you
as
have been
groups,
seeing all
as
around.
societies,
And of course, you see some of these natural resources that we have, natural materials that we have, they have different properties, they have different types. So there could be a specific one that could work perfectly for this energy concept that we're talking about. And that is why we talk of silica. It is of course sand, silica. It could now be taken through processes to form glass. The concept of energy and sustainability that we have also been talking about. We are in this auditorium now, enjoying natural lights. Imagine if we are to put this all in a very using very compact dark material that once you enter you won't be able to see anything. That means if you are to provide light in that dark room, you'll be spending so much money just for you to see, to provide light. But when you are having natural light to beam into this room, we could see ourselves, we could enjoy, we could, you know, have some kind of lively activities. We could enjoy interactions, you know. So it means this glass, as we know it from the old, that it could provide light while we have the security of having a structure, yet it gives us an opportunity not to spend so much providing artificial light, you know, because of the use of natural light. As we think of this rigid glass, today we have flexible glass that could also be tampered with. Use your phone. Some of these phones that we have, most of the components that are being used to manufacture it are also from silica. Talk of glass. So this concept that we are talking about is something that we use in our day-to-day activities. And of course, we have mentioned that those from the chemistry department, they are actually doing a lot. They have a lot to do when it comes to this innovation in glass, because they could look at the chemical composition of different materials and see how we can combine them to form whatever we know as we use different materials to perform different activities in our daily lives today. So as we proceed, I am welcoming representatives of UNIDO, United Nations organizations. I hope they are here. Any representative from UNIDO here, please? Can you signal your presence? UNIDO. Of course, then some of our partners that are here to Siltech. Is Siltech here? Siltech?
Global passenger transport
what of Costech?
will more than double.
Is Costech here?
2015 and 2050.
Okay, Costech here.
Transportation systems,
Well,
particularly in urban
I wouldn't
areas,
know.
are
Costech,
already
do you have
growing
any
by
message
then.
or remark for
At the
us?
same time,
Can you give your
urban
welcome
populations are set to
remark?
increase by 50% by
Costech,
2050,
please.
making the effects of urbanization,
You're representative of
including
Costech.
pollution
Okay,
and
thank you
traffic
very much.
congestion, increasingly difficult to manage. At the same time,
you.
we find
A round of applause for him,
transportation
please.
at the epicenter of a climate emergency,
Thank you
being
much.
responsible for almost 1/4 of
Good morning,
global CO2
everyone.
emissions.
My name is
with much of the
Julian
issue
Mbakwe.
hinging
I
around the
work with
dependency on
Autodex,
personal car
and
mobility.
Costech is one of our main partners in Nigeria. So Autodex makes software and technologies for design and manufacturing
The significance
as it
of the
relates
car
to
and modern
this
mobility
event.
is difficult to
And
understate.
I've been sitting and
Global
listening
e-mobility is
to
the
our
second largest
speakers over
expenditure
time,
in a
and
household,
it's quite
creating an
wonderful. I
annual
mean, a
market of
lot is
10
already
trillion,
being said
85%
about
of
the
which lies with
importance
car
of
ownership.
circularity
The personal
in
car during the
material
20th century
selection,
was a symbol
right?
of
When we
independence,
talk about
financial
engineering.
security, and
But
adulthood.
one thing I want
Now the
us to
freedom machine is becoming a symbol of
look at,
frustration,
right,
wasted time,
tied
and high
to the
cost.
objectives of the
The
UN
megacities of emerging economies
and
are
what
grinding
started
to
this
a halt
whole
with people
gathering
left trapped in
is the
machine cages.
sustainability
With respect to
and
transportation on
the,
planet Earth, we have managed to
carbon
organize
efficiency,
ourselves into an incredible and
right?
sometimes bizarre
getting
situation
towards the
when
future.
looked at
So,
with fresh
you know,
eyes.
the whole idea of
Manila
circularity,
to Sao Paulo,
recycling, and
the very
every
same
other
pattern
thing
around the
all
planet.
circles
People
down
spend
to
hours every day
carbon
nudging
efficiency.
and bumping through masses
And
of cars
you
moving slower
can't
than the speed of walking,
exclude any
while
specific
fumes
industry
damage
at
their
all.
organism and
We've
float up
discussed
into the
about
sky to pollute
vehicles, we've
and
discussed about
destabilize the environment
products,
the system itself
and
depends
we've
upon.
also
The
discussed
average
about
speed on
buildings.
roads in Mexico City
And I
has
will give
dropped
you
to
an
11
example.
kilometers
I'm
per
not going to
hour.
take a lot of your
Around
time,
the
but
same
if you
as in
look at the hall we are
1910,
sitting
when
here,
horse-drawn carriages were still
if
on
you
the
compare
roads.
this hall,
How do
I'm
we
not
create
saying
the
I'm not
freedom
giving the
of
hall
mobility in the
100%, but
21st
it's
century
wonderful.
for a
But
planet of 8
if you
plus
consider this
billion
hall
people?
and some
The
conventional
challenge is
facility
huge
you
and
get
complex,
into,
but the
and
stakes are
compare
high,
the cost
socially,
of energy,
environmentally, economically.
cannot equate the two of them. In fact, we can shut off all these
Today, we
lights that
inherit
are
an
on and
industrial
still
age system of
have our
transport,
events going.
as per other systems
To be
dominated
honest,
by
I mean, I
reductionist
can't,
logic.
if I ask
This
you if
paradigm to the
any of the
transport
lights
system
on
has got
have
us a
any
long
impact
way.
on your visibility, you
Widely
literally say
available
no.
personal
And
transportation
that is
vehicles have
driving
ways
to
to drive them on, but it has ended up with a heavy
efficiency.
focus on individual
wonderful.
vehicles at the
And
expense
that is
of
what is happening
system-wide
everywhere. When
coordination.
you look at buildings
As
from
always, with
Europe, from the
reductionism, we
US,
optimize the
you
parts,
see
but this
the
results
amount
in
of energy they
suboptimization
save.
of the whole.
So what I want
result,
us to take away
lovely
from
fast cars,
today
but a
is
hugely
the
suboptimal
idea of
transport system when
thinking
taken as a
about
whole.
where we are
What
heading.
it takes to move beyond
There's going to
today's
be a lot of
contradictions
talk,
is not a
not
better
just from
vehicle.
here,
It is a system.
all through your
We
life,
need a
all through
system
your
that is better
studies,
than
from your
any of the
professional
parts.
space, from the
Shifting
academic
from a
space.
partial approach to a
People are
systems
going to
approach
talk a lot
means
that
elevating our
you
thinking
might
from
lose track
vehicles
of
to
where
integrated
you're
service
going to.
systems,
That's the objective,
mobility
which is
ecosystems.
what carbon
To
efficiency
change
drive
the whole system
down the
means
cost
changing
and
our
time of
thinking about
literally
but
everything.
also
So
changing our way
at
of valuing
Autodex, we are always
we
glad
start to
to
account for
align
all
ourselves with
relevant
this
factors.
kind of event
On the paradigm
because
level,
we are
shifting
already
from the
helping
mentality of
people with
transportation to that of
technologies that
access.
help you
How do we
design. Of
deliver
course,
access
we
instead
have the
of more
technology that help you
transportation?
design the
Thinking
best
about the
buildings, the
purpose of
best
the system.
infrastructure,
What
the
is the
best
goal?
product. Literally
develop
everything
a system
around
that
you,
really
when you look
delivers
at
the full set
Autodex,
of
you literally
requirements,
find a
social,
technology that
economic,
help
and
you
environmental.
start
An
from the beginning of the
integrated full
process to
cost
the end of the
accounting system
process.
is
So I'm
needed.
talking about
A
design
full
and
cost accounting system that represents
so,
the full set of
thank you so
factors
much,
involved
and please sit
enables us
tight.
to make the right
I
decisions
strongly
about
believe this
transport,
event will really
both as
impact
individual
your life.
users
As students,
and
I'm
as
talking to
societies.
students now. I see a lot of
On the
lecturers
structure
and
level,
academic
what is the
professionals.
change in the
Thank you so
structure of the
much,
system
everyone.
that needs to come about?
Thank you so much.
How can we
Please
make
round of
structural
applause for
changes
him.
needed to
Okay,
move
don't go yet too,
micromobility,
because our students are here.
moving from a centralized
The
to a
student really wants to
decentralized
know what
thinking
their
about the structure
takeaway
of
will
our
be
built environment
from
and
this
how to
program.
decentralize it with linked
We
up
deliberately
multimodal
invited
transport
Autodesk
hubs in 15
as one of
major
our
cities.
partner. And I want to know,
Shifting
do you
from
have any
ownership to
package for our
delivery of
students
mobility as a service
in this
will be
concept
key
of
to
your
optimize it for
technology
the whole.
design that you have mentioned?
Mobility as a
Please.
service creates the framework for us
So
to
I
start to
believe
integrate the
some
various
things have been
forms of
going on
transport
before now.
services into a
At
single
Autodex, we
mobility
have
service
an
accessible
academic,
on demand.
we call them
At the component
education
level,
team.
what are the
And
changes and
I
parts
know
that need
from
to
the
be made?
background I've been
For example, switching
really,
from
really
combustion
pushing and
engines to electric
supporting
vehicles will clearly be
this
part of
aspect
this
of
as we're
our
moving
collaboration
to
with Union. Like
autonomous
I've been
vehicles.
here, I'm even seeing
The
faces that I
technologies to
know. I don't know how I know the
support
faces.
systems level
I
change in
think
transportation
I've
will be
even
at
had
the
a handshake
convergence of
with
the
you
Internet of
sometime in the
Things,
past.
decentralized
but
tech and advanced
What we've
data
done is, I
analytics.
think they've been
Such technologies now
software
allow us the
technologies that have
opportunity
been,
to move away from a centralized,
released for
large
free.
technology systems
I
approach
will
to
consult with
transport
Autodex, but
and shift to
I
a
was
more
also speaking with
decentralized, micro-data-driven
I
peer-to-peer
don't know,
approach.
organizer,
Some
right, the
decades
gentleman
ago,
that spoke
the
before me,
HTTP
and
protocol
we are
started to
already
connect our
discussing
personal
about
computers and
some set
enabled
of
them to
software
exchange
technologies
information.
that will be
What
deployed
followed
for
was a
Unilag,
revolution in
specifically Fusion
communication that's
360.
still rocking the world.
I saw it. I saw it
The same
there.
is now needed in
Hope you are
transport.
hearing.
Create those
So-
protocols
Students,
so that
please a round of applause for him.
Good.
can connect
So
into
Fusion
those
360
networks as service
is
providers and
the
as
software of the
users.
future. Is a
The Internet of
cloud-based
Transport
3D
unlocked data to
design
turn silos
modeling.
and
It's
transactional
a combination
exchanges
of CAD,
into
KAI,
open
and CAM.
ecosystems.
So it
Here,
literally
the innovation challenge
gets you
is
from
about
the start
open
of your design
transportation
process,
protocols for
that's
coordination,
from concept development
so as to
down
be
to the
able to
moment
unbundle
you're
verticals and
manufacturing.
centralized
So you're going to
systems
see the
and ship
best
them
of
out to on-demand
design
networks.
tools, the best of
If we really want to solve
simulation
systems
tools
level
for
challenges,
various
this is a
various
question of
simulation
coordination,
solution. And
adaptation,
because
and
of the fact that
intelligence
it's a
on that
cloud-based
level,
solution,
which comes
there are
through a
levels of
decentralized
cloud
architecture of
computing,
interaction supported
if
by
you are
open
quite
protocol.
conversant with the
The transport
conventional
system of tomorrow
design
will
or
be both
FEA
modular
tools, sorry,
and
I'm using a
integrated.
lot of jargons.
Complex
FEA means
ecosystems
finite
based
element
around connectivity,
solution. You
protocols,
notice that most times
data,
they are hardware
value
intensive.
exchanges.
Sometimes your computer might start boiling. You can just fry egg with the computer when you start running some simulations. But these technologies help you deploy such simulations to the cloud, and you spend your time doing other things, and as well computer-aided manufacturing. So yes, so if you look behind you, you see that there is a 3D printer setup out there already. That is courtesy of Costech, our partners, and we organize that to also help you start up the conversation around, you know, what happens downstream of design. We've been talking about a lot of material-related stuff. We're having conversations around material stuff, but it's best appreciated when you now put it in context. One challenge. So one challenge I'll be putting out to everyone today is, by the time you listen to everything you've been told or you'll be told today, I want you to start thinking about what the next idea is. How do you apply it? How do you start putting them into practice? There's a lot of
personal car during about it, but
Sorry,
also
there's
changing our way of valuing it, so that we start to account for all relevant factors.
designing them.
On the paradigm level, shifting from
Start
a
looking at
mentality of
innovative
transportation
ideas,
to that of
sustainable
access.
ideas that
How do we deliver
you
access
can
instead of
design,
more
and
transportation?
this is how Autodesk
Thinking
come
about the
into
purpose
place.
of the
So
system.
you
What is the
design
goal?
and technologies like
To
3D
develop a
printing, which is
system
an
that really
additive
delivers the
manufacturing
full set of
process.
requirements, social, economic, and environmental.
Thank you
An
so much. I think
integrated
the
full
microphone
cost
wants me to
accounting
go and sit
system
down,
is needed.
but
A full cost accounting system
I'll
that
be glad
represents
to
the full set of factors
engage you
involved
guys.
enables
Costech
us
is
to
going to
make
be
the
here
right decisions
for
about transport,
some hours,
both as
and I
individual
think they have a
users
session
and as
to them.
societies.
So, but for
On the
myself,
structure
I
level, what is the
dedicated the rest
change in
of
the
today to
structure of
this
the
event,
system
so
that
I'll be
needs to
sitting
come about?
quietly
How can we
somewhere
make the
there.
structural
So
changes
I'll
needed
be
to
glad
move
to
into a
talk
world
with
of
you
micromobility,
and
moving
bring your
from a
conversation
centralized
around any
to a
industry, because
decentralized
we
system?
are strongly
Thinking about
supporting
the structure of
the
our built
architectural,
environment
engineering,
and how to
construction,
decentralize it
manufacturing,
with linked
design,
up
even media and
multimodal transport
entertainment.
hubs
Though
in
there might
15
not be no
minute cities.
application around that,
Shifting
but
from
this is our
ownership to
industry
delivery
of
mobility as a
innovation.
service
So
will be key to
no
optimizing
matter
for
where
the
you
whole.
are operating from,
Mobility as a service
we'll be glad
creates the
to
framework for us to
have
start to
conversations
integrate the
and,
various
you know,
forms of
push your
transport
dreams.
services
Thank you very
into a
much. A
single
round of applause for
integrated service
Autodesk and
system
Costech,
on
please.
demand.
Thank you very
At the
much. Really
component
appreciate
level,
that.
What are the changes and parts that need to be made?
Good.
For example,
Having said that, and of course, we are seeing one of the things that we can gain from this workshop, particularly in the area of computing. Oh, as I'm speaking, we welcome the presence of the Ministry of Environment. I hope they are representing the commissioner and, of course, Lagos State Government. Welcome, sir. Welcome, madam. Thank you very much for attending our program. You are welcome. Thank you for that round of applause. Now, having heard from one of our partners, I think it is time to welcome one of our guest speakers. You see, we have spoken so much about glass, mobility, and the likes. And of course, sometimes you may be asking yourself, mobility in the built environment. Remember, we are talking of built environment, which includes the roads where you have those cars, which includes lifts that do have cars, which includes escalators. Okay? So, of course, one of our partners here today is Hyundai. And of course, you know we have Hyundai lift, escalators, and the likes. When it comes to mobility, they are involved in that. And of course, they have one of their products for exhibition display outside there for us to see the concept of electric energy, electric car, you know. So let us welcome architect Ladi Luis to deliver his lecture. He's our guest speaker today. Architect Ladi Luis, you are welcome, please. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to stand on the existing protocol. I was asked just about a week ago to kind of prepare this presentation, so it's a bit of a rush, but I'll try and do justice to it. I'm supposed to talk about glass innovation in building and construction for a sustainable future. So I can introduce glass, and you can say that glass is one of the most versatile materials in the world with unlimited possibilities and uses. You can find it in jewelry, ceramics, eyeglasses, bottles. It's all around you. It's all over you. And you can even find them in innovative things like electronic equipment, solar panels, and even now, a material called glass flat in roots. Now, if you know, glass has always existed, even in a natural form called obsidian. That's just volcanic rock that has been converted into glass naturally. And the Egyptians and the ancient people in Mesopotamia found this, and they used to use it to make jewelry. So it started off as a natural form, and then man found a way to heat silica with all kinds of chemicals to form all kinds of glass over time. And it goes with sustainability, and we say it requires that we meet our own needs and conserve and use efficient natural resources and leave it behind for future generations. So glass has a role to play in this. It's recyclable, it's reusable, and our building code dictates how we use glass safely. I'm going to talk about this, especially with relation to buildings. I have this picture of the history of glass from 3500 BC, and you see over the years, man has improved on the production of glass. And big names like Pilkington, Ford, and others, industrialists, have developed glass over the years to what we have today, and it comes in different forms. Now, glass in buildings, you would notice that around you, we want light. So glass brings natural light into our buildings, just like the space we're in. With natural light, we get good health. If you put a person in a dark room for years, he will become unhealthy. And that's the truth. And the views you see also make you comfortable. Positive mood, and you need a good psychological frame of mind. So you see external spaces, you need to see greenery, you need to see people. So glass allows you to do that, even exposure. And then ventilation is important. Glass allows us to have openings. You can imagine if this room was all made of blockwork, or you stay in a building where it's all solid blockwork. How do you open it? But with glass, you have the of natural ventilation. It allows us to have a comfortable environment within the building, because now you can combine light, ventilation, and create ventilation, and have a temperature that is in an ambient, comfortable level. Effects. Glass can be used to create dramatic effects. From stained glass windows in cathedrals, we can use it to create, effects in buildings. You can direct light in various places, create shadow effects, create silhouettes, create all kinds of effects with glass. And a lot of architects that have used this in their buildings. And when it comes to utilities, you can create furniture out of glass, create all kinds of things out of glass. And aesthetics, glass creates this beauty in buildings, this lightness in beauty. And probably that is a major thing people relate glass to, basically aesthetics. But it goes beyond that. Now there are types of glass. I'm going to run through them. I'm not going to go to that. The plain one we know is float glass, the glass you see around you. But you also have laminated safety glass. That's glass with a film in between it, so it's stronger. If it breaks, it holds together. You have toughened glass. That's glass that has been heated and toughened and made stronger than the normal kind of glass. It's always much, much thicker and has its use. Now you have toughened and laminated glass. So there's a combination of toughening the glass, putting a laminate in between it, and combining it. And you can do various combinations, make it as thick as possible, make it as strong as you want it. You have insulating glass units, and those are glass with multiple layers, with different types of glass, and some of them gas in between the layers, or air in between them. You can have them in up to 3-4 layers with the gaps in them, and it's to create glass that allows you to control the temperature within a space. You have decor pattern glass. that are embossed. You can create glass with all kinds of relief effects and patterns on them. Make glass look like whatever form you want. Of course, I mentioned the stained glass window that you see in cathedrals. Then you have coated glass. This is glass that you add chemicals to, and what it does is that it controls the way sunlight relates to the glass. So it allows sunlight to go in, but rejects the heat. So it's glass that now allows you in hot climates to have cool interior spaces. One of the things that you notice that if you stay in a car that's inside the sun, it gets so hot. Because it's actually, you have a laminated glass as your windshield. Notice when the windshield is broken, it still stays in place. If you look at the very old cars, they were just toughened glass. When it breaks, it shatters into small crumbs. Now, the side mirrors, the side glass windows are just toughened. So and the reason why is that if you should have an accident within a car, the best way out of it is not through the windscreen because it's laminated. It's going to be difficult. But the rear and the sides, if you punch it with a sharp object, it shatters into crumbs and you can get out of the car. So you can see the use of glass in cars. But the future might be using, a coated glass, double glazed in a car, and that means the car will never heat up. That's the truth. Then you have, of course, our regular mirrors. Now you can make mirrors as flat sheets and in other forms. Then you have screen printed glass. You can now print on glass. You can print images, print all kinds of things on glass. You have formed glass. That's float glass that is heated and softened, and you can create all kinds of forms with it. You have security glass. Glass that would stop people breaking them and getting into the space. And you can make them, to the point that they can withstand bombs, they can withstand grenades, they can withstand, missiles. Then you have self-cleaning glass. That's glass that cleans itself. It's made in the form that it has chemicals in the production of it that allows it to dissolve dirt as it sticks to it, rather than enough that you need to clean regularly. You have glass blocks. You can use this to create non-load bearing walls within a building. They are translucent, allows light to pass through them, and you allow you to separate spaces. And then you have structural glass. Now, most people don't understand that structural glass is just glass that can stand on its own. It's self-supporting. It uses less structural elements. So like curtain wall you're seeing here, but aluminum panels around it, the glass can stand on its own with very little steel structural elements to keep it up. Now, sustainable glass comes in different versions today, and over the time, from the plain glass that you have that you break and it will cut you and you see it shatters so easily, you now have energy efficient glass in single glazed, double glazed, triple glazed formats, and they are meant to make buildings more energy efficient and more sustainable. You also have solar panels that are made of tempered glass, which is sometimes called toughened glass, same thing, and these specific products that make the tempered glass suitable for the manufacturing of solar panels. These are put on top of our roofs on various areas to allow us to generate electricity using solar panels. So glass is used to generate electricity. Now, because glass is reusable, it's one of the most sustainable building materials we have. You can see that you can use glass as its existing form for other uses. People use them to create furniture, decorations, lighting fixtures. So your glass bottle is a reusable item. Be recycled. Existing glass can be crushed and reused to form other forms of glass and other materials as well, such as what I mentioned, the GlassFUTURES. Glass is mixed with asphalt for roads. And it's more efficient as a material for road because it's more resistant to water damage, And it's something that is probably going to affect us more in Nigeria if we use this material on our roads, so we have less potholes. You also have glass in concrete. You can mix glass into concrete. You can make concrete that is translucent and is as solid as a slab. You can also use it to decorate slabs used for pavement, used for kitchen tops. You can use it to create floors. So you can add glass to a floor that's like a terrazzo floor, and it creates an effect. So glass, even when it's a waste material, can be used. And so it's a very sustainable material. It's not something you throw away or dump. Glass in itself, from its day of manufacture, is almost like an eternal material that you can continue to use. If you're using a building, you bring the building down, you can take out the glass and actually use it for something else. So if you took down a building, you should actually preserve the glass, and you can crush it and use it in your concrete to make all kinds of elements in the building. Now, glass windows with integration and site protection. If you look at this building now, I'm sure you're struggling to see the slides. And there's a lot of light coming in. Yes, we like the light. But imagine if we wanted to show a movie in here, we would need to bring heavy curtains. But you now have glass that now have integrated Venetian blinds in within them. And you can tune them to shut out the light and turn them back on. And there's also glass now that has electrical components in it that actually darken it and make it opaque. So we are creating innovations in glass. And you can imagine now that you have glass with those components, with a switch of a button, this entire room becomes dark and you can show a movie. And you can see the slides a lot better than what you're saying now. And they allow us to also make the building efficient. So if you don't want the sunlight into the building, you can switch it off. So they are integrated glass panels now. So obviously, the future is just unimaginable. We can go all kinds of innovations. You have also glass and mirrors as displays. You see these large panels, they're made of glass. Large display screens on the streets, on billboards. Billboards are now made of glass. You can create all kinds of them. I know the slides are moving a bit slow, but I'm trying to make sure I'm within my time frame. So even your TV is a glass panel. And you can see there are TVs now that they make that are even transparent. And you can interact with them. They're like touch screens now. You have your computers, you have your iPads that are touch screen. They're all made of some form of glass or the other. And they are combined with all kinds of intelligent technology now. So in the future, we might be seeing your iPad that is also generating electricity by being integrated with a solar panel, by integrated with some other technology that allows you to interact with it. So we're going to see a lot of interactions with products made with glass. And I will say when we talk of the future, it starts with our imagination. So I want to talk about glass in futuristic buildings. In 2014, Dubai came up with an idea of creating an entire urban development that was going to have a glass dome. When I saw it at the exhibition in the Cityscape Dubai, then I thought, is it possible? A glass dome in the desert, and they were going to air cool it. Of course, it never came to happen. It was simply a promotion. And it was going to have 100 hotels, shopping center, but it was imaginative. And I can tell you from where that imagination came from, but it may not be too far-fetched. Well, Saudi Arabia is building the line, and that's 3.7 kilometers long and 87 meters high, called the mirror. Two parallel structures that are going to traverse mountains and deserts. So you can imagine a glass 120 kilometers long in the desert. Some people say it's not possible. They say it's possible. We don't know what technology they're going to deploy, but we're seeing how glass is going to change our world. And I will tell you this, it started a long time ago. I don't know how many people here have watched the Star Trek series, science fiction of Star Wars, You can imagine the latest movie, Wakanda, you know, is a city, an African city, but if you look at the elements, there is a lot of glass being used. So if you look at the Black Panther series and the Marvel comics, you're going to see a lot of glass being used in science fiction. But this science fiction that was the past is now the present. There was a time the mobile phone was a big plastic object, very heavy. But today it's a surface with a glass that you can interact in. So we have seen development that was unimaginable 30, 40 years ago. So 40 years ago, 30 years ago, a mobile phone was impossible. In fact, maybe 20 years ago, a phone you could touch was impossible. You had to press buttons. But you can see how glass has made it possible for you to have a touch screen that reacts with you. So we are seeing science fiction writers who are not even predicting what we are yet to develop. So the future is there for us to create new uses for glass, efficient, sustainable uses for glass. So I'm going to look at three buildings that I've visited. One is the Gardens by the Bay in Singapore. It's a huge structure of two greenhouses, I call them, made of glass. Now, it's just some steel frames that are supporting this glass. So it's structural glass. It's efficient. It's glass that allows the sunlight to go into the building, yet does not allow the heat to heat it up. You have huge gaps. So this structure allows you, has created a garden within a tropical environment. Case study 2 is St. Mary Axe, London. It's also an award-winning building by Sir Norman Foster, also called the Swiss Re. It's about 41 floors high. There are 41 floors and 180 meters. The unique thing about this is that a lot of the windows are openable. We've created a system that allows air to pass through it. Now, why am I mentioning this building? It's because it inspired me to actually create one building that had the same effect, where we used low-E glass, and that's in Imasa Towers in Victoria Island. It was formerly called Canty Towers. It's 15 floors high, and has a total built-up area of about 14,000 square meters. Now, this building can operate without electricity because the glass, it's low-E, there's double glazing. So if you walk along the glass enclosed staircase, even at midday, without the air conditioning on, you're still comfortable. And one of the days we did an experiment, we put 2 sheets of glass in front of us, the double insulated glass and a normal piece of glass facing the sun. And you could look at the sun directly with the double glaze panel, but with the other ones you couldn't. It was very blinding. So what we saw was that you could actually achieve very comfortable interior environments with the glass you use. And you can get structures with glass. So I want to end here, and I want to thank you for listening to me. The opportunities we have are immense, mixing the various components and various qualities of glass. You can actually create buildings in the tropics that are comfortable if you use the right kind of glass. So don't get the effect or have the imagination that while using glass, you are creating a hot oven all the time. No. With the use of glass, sustainably, we have a brighter future. Thank you very much.
Please, a round of applause for... Thank you very much, sir. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. Please keep your questions. I believe you should have questions. We shall be having a question and answer session soon. Ensure that you keep your questions. Yeah, we have listened to our first guest speaker. And of course, he had delivered a very beautiful lecture. Let me also mention that our students, we are trying to spur you to understand what lie ahead in the future. and what you could do for your country. Some of these things that we are hearing today, in our minds, our thinking could be that, oh, they are all imported. No, blacks don't do it. No, I cannot do it. Of course you can do it. In fact, it's on record that one of the earliest glass made in this world that has record was actually from Igbo in Ife, Nigeria. So it is not impossible, as young as you are, that you have that thinking that what can I do to actually contribute to the development of the world. On this note, let me call our next speaker in person of Dr. Femi Idowu Adegoke, who is going to be taking us through innovative circular economy practices that strengthens glass recycling value. Thank you very much, Doctor. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to stand on existing protocol, honor to whom is due. The Prof, good morning, academias, the students, private sectors, all stakeholders. Say a big thank you for this opportunity to speak glass circularity towards the recycling aspect. I am a recycler, I am a trash man, I convert waste to resources, and I earn my living from waste. So, might not speak to my slides specifically because I've been educated here again by the architect that just spoke. Easy. I'm not going to explain too much about circularity anymore. We all understand, by now I'm sure we all know what circularity is. Circularity is to eliminate waste, eliminate pollution, and to give value to what people call waste. We make it resources, so we can use it over and over again. And I can tell you why we are here today, glass is one of the most recyclable materials. It is recyclable uncountable times without losing its strength. That's one thing. It's not plastic loses its strength after a certain time, paper loses its strength after a certain time, but glass doesn't. In Lagos, recycling is key that we've been doing at least in the last years. Okay, my slide is not being projected. I thought it was, so I was going to show it, but I want to show us some statistics that was done in Lagos State about 7 years ago. We generate about 13,000 tons of waste in Lagos, estimated every day. 45% of it is organic waste, which is recyclable. So we can do circularity of organic waste. 15% plastic. But 5% is glass. And what does that tell me? It tells me that 650 tons of glass waste ends up in the dump site. And in 2017, I started collecting glass in Lagos. I'm a glass aggregator. I aggregate glass bottles for packaging. After you must have used your glass, the contents, and you throw the glass away, I go around to pick it because it's valuable to me. I have a mini crusher. I crush this into cullet. For like 2 years, I didn't have off-taker, but it wasn't a problem. I kept on. What am I saying? I'm saying this to you, students, so that you can begin to think innovatively. You can begin to look at what you can do while you are even in the university. What you can do. There are no white-collar jobs out there anymore. The blue-collar jobs are very, very more lucrative these days. So I want you to understand that from now. So 2 years after, Better Glass, who produces almost 90% of the glass for the beverage industry and pharmaceuticals in Nigeria, they now do use recyclable glass for their. So I sell my aggregated glass bottles glass. You understand what I'm saying? What I started 2017 just because I'm a waste manager, I'm a recycler, I was aggregating. I started selling. And then we have Ego Glass as well. Okay, now my slide is on, so sorry. So yeah, the first one, sorry. Yes, you can leave it here. So I just said, what are the strategies of circular economy? What we're used to is the linear economy, where we take, make, use. Waste never goes anywhere. If you say you throw your waste away, it never goes anywhere. It comes back to us. Waste, improper waste management has been said to be the second highest contributor to carbon emission. So it has not gone anywhere. It has come back to us. And that's why we need a sustainable waste management system. And for us to get the value from the resource that we see in waste, it is to have this circular system. That for the circular economy, take, make, reuse over and over again, and you're not throwing it away. And so, what I say in essence is that, sorry, go to the next slide, please. No, I've gone past here. Go on. Okay, yes. 9, please. Yes, leave it here. This is what I was. So this is the composition of Lagos waste management, waste characterization. See, glass at the bottom is 5%. That 5% can create a lot of wealth. It can create a lot of sustainability. Value in it. There is economic value, there is social value, and there is environmental value as well. Next slide. Okay, so yes, this is still speaking to how do we prevent glass being waste. You start from prevention. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Okay. This slide shows the post-consumer used glass bottles. Extreme to my right will be to your left. And cross to collect. And then the last slide is the innovation that's come out of it. It's been turned into table lamp. You can see, and that makes it a circular economy, rather than for it to end up in the dump site. Next slide. So, circularity of glass, the value chain. People ask me if I don't want to collect waste. You can begin the advocacy. Today, globally, everyone is talking about plastic. It is because the advocacy for plastic started. And then we began to talk about the health and environmental impact of plastic. So we need to begin to advocate for sustainable glass management and innovation. Move to the collection and sorting, which is what I do. That's what I call aggregation. That is what I do today. I collect glass, I sort it, I crush it into collect, and then the processors come to take it from me. And they're not taking it from me for free. The value for glass recycling is still very low. There's no awareness. People do not know that you can actually get value from this. And people do not understand the innovative aspect of it, that we can create a lot of valuables from glass. I visited the University of Lagos about last month. I came here to this same hall. I came to speak about plastic. And after that event, I visited the mechanical engineering department. The innovation, the creativity that we have in this Citadel of Knowledge. But because I'm in the town now, we have the town and the gown, and that's what Prof said. We need to do this more often. The town sits out there, we're looking for innovations. We're looking at machineries into the university. You find a lot of that. I've been looking for a machine that can melt my glass. Do you know that you can use glass, recycled glass, for your tabletops, kitchen tops? I've been working on that for the past 2 years. But what I've been looking for is a funding machine to help me to melt my glass at a controlled temperature. I found it in university because it's lying there fallow. Now, I've been thinking of importing, but I couldn't because the price is high. So we need to begin to do the marriage between the town and the gown. Next slide, please. Okay. Okay, you're on the last slide. Okay, what are the challenges of the glass circularity in Lagos, in Nigeria? I know Nigeria is in the process of developing a roadmap for circular economy. That is going on now, but we need more legislation to improve on, and what do I mean? The extended producer responsibility for manufacturers who produce glass packaging materials. It should be mandatory for them to follow the life cycle of their product, of their packaging material. Extended producer responsibility is not a voluntary work. It should be mandatory. That's my recommendation. Lack of awareness, and that's what we're doing here today. And that's what the foundation is doing as well, creating more awareness. Behavioral change, we cannot overemphasize that. You don't just take content and throw the packaging away anymore. You can keep your glass packaging because now you know it. Then innovations. I want the young ones, like the architect said, the future is now. We can see glass, the role it plays in buildings, in the built environment. So you can begin to innovate and create from glass as well. It's been said that we can have a glass panel that will be self-powered by solar. When I sat down there and I heard that, it blew my head off and like, wow, we're in heat for it. This is a good time to be alive. And then finance. I'm sure the financial industries, if they are here, and funding organizations, this is where they need to come in and support the innovators among these students. Because if you have innovation, if you have ideas, and you don't have finance, it's just ordinary idea. You're not going to fly. It's not going to go anywhere. And that is why the sustainability principle talks about economy, about environment, and social. So everything must all work together for it to be sustainable. So what are the positive impacts of glass? We are all aware. I will just shorten it because I don't know how many minutes I have. Glass is more sustainable. I've said that earlier. It saves energy. It saves energy. One of our speakers, very good example is is well lit. Was very okay in here. Was with sustainability, and those are the
then reduces air pollution. It has been said recycling reduces about 20% of air pollution from producing raw material. It conserves natural resources, and then where we play, which is the waste management. From our dump sites. Also, taste vitamins of food. Plate over time. You lose its taste or begin to absorb the taste from the plastic. But the one in glass will remain. And that's a very valid why we should actually use glass for our food storage. Also, it is commonly used in the pharmaceutical industry. If you look at the pharmaceutical industries, property within that glass security is a must for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that beautiful presentation. We thank you, sir. Wow, what a good day. And of course, I believe we have been jotting down and of course looking forward to what we could actually explore from what had been delivered in today's workshop. Well, I think with so much that had been given, I hope we are not becoming tired with the lectures. Can we just please rise on our feet to have a little, energized movement of our body system, please? Let us rise and have a little exercise. Let's stretch our hands up. Let's stretch our hands. Well, sorry, to the front. Yes. Can we just do a little exercise like that? Are we feeling better? We feel good. I hope we feel good. Thank you very much. We can have our seats back. Thank you very much. Be prepared for the question and answer session. Earlier, we welcome the presence of the representative of the Honorable Commissioner of the Environment of the Lagos State, in person of Mr. Adeoye Babajide. Please, can you signal for recognition, please? Mr. Adeoye Babajide. So we are happy to have you today. We are happy to have you. Then, we also have in our midst today the Lagos State Office of the Sustainable Development Goal of the Mechanical and Electrical Department, and Mr. Thank you. Yes, the representative of Jermaine Auto Center. What of Nord? Representative of Nord, are they here? What of Centurion? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, can we have, after this question and answer session, we shall be asking our partners and the guests to give us their message for this workshop. Thank you very much. Please, if you have questions, if raise your hands so far on what has been discussed. Our presenters are still here. If you have questions on what has been discussed so far. Yes, sir. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
This glass thing, I look at it and I see that I like to compare glass and plastic. And why plastics and metal are very popular is because they have certain properties. For plastic, energy, easy to any form, easy to recycle. It can be integrated into semiconductors. It can carry light. You can use it for optical fiber and so many other things. These are the advantages of plastics. Metal too has advantages. It's flexible, and if I hit plastic with a force, it deforms. Unfortunately, glass with all it needs a lot of energy to process it and to it. And on impact, I don't these two properties, and it's very difficult to integrate. Very difficult to conductors into glass. Layer of glass on semiconductor. I can't do that. But then I can do that with plastics, and that's why plastic is very popular. But then with it needs a lot of it needs a lot of what is the future of glass with these difficult all that? That is the major problem. Then another problem, like I said, is integrating things into it. For example, is resistant to integrate things into it. So it has a lot of the advantages of that.
Okay, thank you very much. I think, in truth, when you look at the required energy to produce glass, how sustainable is that? Femi, can you please respond to that?
You are very correct with your observation, but the challenge is plastic has all those properties, is cheap, is a semiconductor and all of that, but the environmental, long-term environmental impact of is what we're battling with globally today, with the carbon emission. Plastic does not degrade, I'm speaking from waste management, can stay with us for 1,000 years without degrading. And then recent research has shown that plastic usage, improper waste collection has made plastic into our oceans. And then we have microplastics now in our aquatic habitat species. And then they've even done a research with human beings, they're finding microplastics in our body. So health is a concern. But why we're talking about, why we preach glass recycling, yes, if you're producing glass from the scratch, from virgin materials, from silica, it is a lot of energy. But when you do recycled, you reduce the energy use at least to 20%. And that's what we're encouraging glass recycling. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope you understood the round of applause. Yeah, any further question? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, moderator. I just wanted to add something to the response given, and that is the fact that a lot of research is ongoing globally, looking at how to make glass easier to process, cheaper also, and more malleable in terms of all those additional qualities that plastic has. So it's not as if it's all static. You will well know, sir, that research is going on globally, all over the place, because everybody is concerned about global warming and its effects on humankind and on the entire universe, if we may put it that way. So it's something that is subject to continuous research, evaluation, refinement. We are talking about GlassFUTURES, and that's why your question is very apt, okay? I'm sure what you have flagged up are things that those who are into the research are really trying to interrogate. Hopefully, within a few years from now, most of those things would have been sorted out.
Definitely,
Thank you, sir.
definitely. Thank you very much, Adin. Please, yes, Architect Louis to contribute on that.
Thank you very much, sir. You are quite right. You covered with, and I've 20, 30, 60 years, and the glass will stay there the lifespan of the building. So you recover that initial cost over a long life cycle. That's why glass is has the upper hand over plastics. And you can see that if you produce good quality tiles, they will last the lifetime of the building. If you produce the cheaper ones, within a few years they deteriorate. So what you put in is what you get. That's the truth. There is the Yoruba adage that if you want a beautiful soup, it is money that kills it. So it's the same thing with glass. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Any other question? Yeah. Please, we can continue. Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Okay. It's concerning the electric vehicles. I wanted to ask, my name is Louis Odimkalu. Okay, so I wanted to ask a question. The dean told us that some contributing to the innovation that a particular department, I think chemistry or so, that's happening, working on the batteries for the electric vehicles. Now I know one of the major components for batteries for electric vehicles is lithium, and I know that it's being mined. So I wanted to ask, like, in terms of sourcing, how, in terms of cost and the availability for mass production, in cases talk of acceptance now, when people want to now start for mass production now. So how would they, get this product quicker or quickly? That's the major question.
Thank you very much for that beautiful question. Unfortunately, we had the head of Department of Chemistry with us, and she left. Who could give us that question? Okay, sir.
Thank you so much for your beautiful question. The essence of our gathering here.
Your name, sir, please, sir.
My name is Segun Ayeju. I'm from Department of Chemistry.
Thank you, sir.
The essence of our gathering is to exploit. Now, if you go back to our geography, you will discover that there's a lot of ores everywhere. The idea thing is that some of them have been overlooked. But now, like the case of silica you mentioned, we have been going to Igbokoda. If you get there, beautiful scene. And if along the line, there is always what we call gang. That sounds like impurity for most of these things, because what we consider as impurity is actually raw material. So from all other ores, you can always get that particular one. So we don't have any issue. Mark you, just 1 gram of that one is sufficient for you to do a lot of things. It's not going to be gigantic, not something that is too big, but a little quantity can go a long way. It is just like gold. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for the beautiful. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's go back now that we have had our question and answer questions to the session, to the presentations. Let us welcome the representative of Lagos State Commissioner of the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Adeoye Babajide. A round of applause, please.
Welcome. Thank you so much. All protocols duly observed. I bring you greetings from the Honorable Commissioner, Mr. Tunji Bello, who would have loved to have been here today. Okay, it's working now. Who would have loved to be here, like I said, but for other state assignments, he couldn't make it. From Lagos State Ministry of the Environment, we'd like to, appreciate Architect Adeolu Okulaja and Acclaim Beehive Design Foundation and this great institution, University of Lagos, who have always collaborated with the ministry, the area of environmental sustainability, particularly as it relates to management of glass, management of glass in the environment. It is important to note that in relation to the environment, glass is very important, as it has been elucidated by several speakers who have spoken before me. As the topic of this program goes, circular glass innovation hubs, glass innovation in mobility system and the built environment. This keys into the mandate, the goal, and the focus of the Lagos State Ministry of the Environment, because we are committed to the promotion of the use of glass in the built environment. We look forward to seeing new building design incorporate the use of more of glass, as this will minimize the need for the production and use of energy in such buildings. As it is witnessed in this particular building, we can see that a lot of glass was generously used in the design and building of this particular structure that we're in. So you can see now that we need very little lighting. So that has cut down the energy production that would have been needed to light up this particular building, which in effect also supports environmental sustainability. Also, the ministry has been in the forefront of promoting and creating a circular economy in the recycling of recyclable waste products and materials which are generated in the state. And we have been making progress in the recycle of other materials such as plastics, cartons, cans, and the next focus for the ministry now is the recycling of glass. And that is why we are seriously interested in collaborating with various stakeholders such as Acclaim Beehive and this great institution to ensure that more research is put into the recycling of glass. This is because presently recycling of glass in the state is at a low ebb when you compare it to other recyclables. And there is a need for us to create a business case for recycling of glass. This would in turn create more jobs for the teeming population of the state and ensure that we increase the source of income for many who show interest in the recycling of glass. And this will ultimately help in the protection and sustainability of the environment. It may interest all of us to know that presently hundreds of millions of naira are spent by private companies that produce glass, like we have the Figo glass industry, we have the Better glass industry. Hundreds of millions are spent in the importation of broken glass in their production process, which in our own concern is unnecessary, because we have enough of these products in our society that can be used in the production of glass. So if we promote the recycling industry in the state and in the country, we would have created more jobs and created more revenue source for a lot of our investors. Now, I would like to bring our memory for those of us who are a bit older, that you will remember that prior to now, the beverage companies like the Coca-Colas and 7-Up, all their products were in glass. But now, what do we have? We have plastics all over the place. Now, this plastic has been a headache for the state government. Presently, we are still trying to compute what it costs us to manage these plastics, because they are what we call one-use products. Once you take your drinks, these PET bottles, the next thing you discard them. You know that they don't decompose, they remain in the environment for so long. And when you go to our landfill, one of the greatest constituents of the product that end up in landfill are plastics. Now, we know that one of the reasons for this, it is cheaper for these industries to use plastic than to use glass. Because when they were using the glass, where you finish drinking your beverage, if you want to buy another one, you have to return the bottle for the previous one before they give you another one. They have to wash it. They have to use caustic soda and what have you. Wash it. It costs them money. So all these production eliminated in the use of plastics. So it is cheaper for them to produce their products in plastics, and they make more profit and smile to the bank while the environment suffers for it, and while the government spend unnecessary money managing these plastics. So there is a need for us to really our choices and decide what exactly is in our best interest. Also, it's also important to emphasize that the use of glass in the pharmaceutical industry has a lot of advantage, because glass does not react with the medicine that is kept in them, unlike some other packaging material. Glass is more durable. So there's so much advantage in the use of glass. So just as I have tried to emphasize, the ministry is welcome to adopting and embracing anything that protects the environment. So accordingly, in our usual openness, that is the ministry, and eager to collaborate and welcome all stakeholders that are interested in the protection of the environment, we would like to encourage this audience to establish a business case in the glass industry. We want to establish a circular economy in the glass industry. We want to create wealth in the glass industry. We want to promote the glass industry, so that not only will we create jobs for our teeming population, we will also become a foremost exporter of glass. So I bring you the state government. I wish this particular program a success, and I want to give you the assurance of the state government and that of the Ministry of the Environment that the ministry wholeheartedly supports this program, and the ministry welcome innovations, research, and ideas that will promote environmental sustainability. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate that. And I believe we are still looking forward to understand the fact that the future is bright. And in fact, our government understand that, and they are also preparing for the future. So when you talk about the youths, the government is giving us that assurance that the government too is expanding the need to ensure that they secure that future for our teeming youth. And I believe our youth, we are going to take note of that and grab that opportunity. Now, we move to the next on our agenda. Let me invite the representative of Horizontal Glass Tampering to come and give their presentation. Horizontal Glass Tampering. The rep. Thank you very much, madam. A round of applause for her. You're welcome, madam.
Hello all. Good day. Thank you so much for having us here, and a special thanks to and very committed to the course, and we're very glad to be in partnership with University of Lagos. I've sat through most of the conversations, and I'm going to have to skip part of what I'd planned to talk about because I think most of the period has been covered. Professor Louis for doing that because he was very informative. So Horizontal Tempering Glass Company is going to be the first of its kind in this part of the world. We are an energy efficient glass processing company. We're based out of Ikorodu. And I'm going to go through the practicalities and why having such a setup is important to the market. I find whenever we're having conversations about bridging technology gap or sustainable technology, it's always in theory, and we're always kind of looking at the students to go, oh, this is information that you can get off the internet or off your books, and we're telling you again, and not necessarily telling you how to practically be a part of it. And what we hope to do with our factory, so I'm just gonna give like a, what's it called, a diagram sort. I do not have a presentation, sorry, like a slide to show, but I'm going to talk you through our process. So as it's right now, the Nigerian glass market, architectural glass, I would have to specify that I would be here talking about architectural glass. Most of our glass consumption is imported, and the cost is extremely high. They are producing glass, I think 2 Chinese companies or so. The quality is not great.
In the past 30 years, a lot has happened. A modern renaissance of great thinkers and innovative companies have completely changed the way
makes the building energy efficient. That is not true because the different grades to glass production, and most glass that are being produced at the moment are not near glass energy efficient. So what's being done is that they're now going to they now have to like temper, which is part of the processes that horizontal tempering glass will be doing. Temper the glasses, or you're spending pretty much twice there, something that a single should be able to provide to you. So we have companies that are bringing in clear float or producing substandard. I say that loosely, glass not. And then we have the guys to spec for architects. That is not very sustainable. That is not attractive to where we're trying to get to. So we want to bring actually, okay, so before I go into that, what makes a glass truly and positively energy efficient? When you produce glass, which was explained earlier, you have to go through your float line with silica, which is sand, and take out the impurities, extreme heat, and then cooling process to turn it into glass. For energy efficient glasses, there are certain metal oxides that are being splattered onto the glass float in the process of production that would, one, help in refracting sun rays or help in keeping internal temperatures stable so that you are not losing heat too rapidly and also you're not losing cool too rapidly. This in theory is somewhat expensive, which is why we are partnering with the university, because research is always at the forefront of breaking down technology into more attainable solutions. As a company, can I thank you, because it's a bit distracted. What we plan to do as a company is we go through the process of processing energy efficient glass for architecture. Keeps just going off and it's a problem. Yeah, okay. Processing glass for architectural use with students from the university as a part of the factory at every point in time. I think we left for the university to figure out, because we do believe that if you are actively engaging in an ecosystem where you understand how the solutions are being implemented and why the solutions are sustainable, it would drive different aspects of the university. So we're not only targeting architectural students, we're targeting students in like the chemistry department and electrical engineering students too, because if we can find a way to make photoelectric cells more cost effective and more marketable, would have more people looking to adapt to this technology. Right now, for I think private use glass architecture, people are worried about transparency. There are glasses that, depending on on the the sunset and sunrise and all of that, as the sun begins to set, they become photosensitive and it automatically clogs coats the space, so you're not having that transparency problem. Again, very expensive technology, and if we're having to adapt and import this already made into a space to make it available to the market, people would not be so attracted to it. So we're starting up from the fundamental, bringing in metal coated energy efficient glass in the hopes that when we have more people know that you have this in the market. Let's use Fanfare Building. I don't know how many people know Fanfare Building in VI. It is a beautiful piece of architecture. Everybody looks at it like, oh, the glasses are beautiful. The glass is beautiful. It's all of that. But it would surprise you to know that every pen, so a pen of glasses, a box of this, had to be imported. And this is a logistical nightmare for the architect, for the developer, and for the owner, because you can, architecturally, as you can see here, there are probably like 6 different cuts of glass. So you would have to buy your 6 different cuts per the sizing, and then buy extra in case it's broken in transit or in case it's broken in during time of use. And the factories that process this, they have a ton of orders, global companies coming to them, so they're not going to keep reservations for you. So if you've also noticed, there are buildings that have pens of glasses missing, and it's become kind of like a way to describe the building. Oh, there's this skyscraper, this pane of glass is missing there. And that's because you can't get replacement, because they were imported, because there's nobody processing that glass for architectural use here. And that is the gap that we're trying to bridge. So if we're doing that with like minds like yourselves, people that see value in the market coming in and being part of the process, we hope that glass in architecture, sustainable, truly sustainable glass in architecture will become the norm, because the cost of importation and weight, and the gap is being closed a little bit, and this would encourage students that are actively working during their internship cycles to come back to university and be encouraged to find solutions to processes that they met, problems they met during their time at the factory, because we would not, as a commercial company, be embracing all of these problems and trying to find the solutions. Again, it's a capitalist market. But when we're working with like minds and brilliant minds like the students and the professors in the university, we hope that you could take on whatever gaps that they are in the industrial process and work on it, and hopefully in partnership like with the ministry and other government agents, propagate actual sustainable solutions. And some of you, even the law students, because if conversation is going in the right direction and everybody knows that, okay, this is attainable, what is the problem? Because we keep talking about, let me diverse from architecture to single-use plastics, as it's being spoken about all the time. It takes a certain set of minds to go, okay, if this is a problem and recycling is very energy reliant and we still have an energy problem in the economy, why don't we think about legislation that limits the quantity of these things that you should use? Again, it is the next generation that would actively have to deal with the repercussions of this environmental problem that will be thinking holistically. So in summary, Horizontal Tempering Glass is a smart glass processing company. We're just starting out in Ikorodu, and we're hoping to bridge the gap in architectural glass demand in the market and make the university a part of our process so that we're educating and also kind of investing in the future of finding solutions to some of the problems that we have in the market, and hopefully encourage minds to see that this is attainable, it's being done here, it can become commonplace, and this is the future that we're working towards practically. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Now, I hope Autodesk and Costech, they are ready for us to make their presentation. You are welcome. While we are preparing and awaiting we hope we always we have not forgotten that Autodesk is going to make a demonstration on and at the same time having also exhibition of the electric car. We're having our so you're welcome, sir.
Host, hello. Okay. I think the host should give me opportunity to share my screen. Okay. Hello. Sorry, let me check. I think you have to share my screen. I want to show the student, show them how to use the way. So I don't think they must do that. Okay, standing up. Hello? Let me ask. So, all right. Coastal Computers Limited and the Autodesk entire partner in Nigeria. So we deal in different engineering designs in those software. Of construction and oil and gas. So today we're going to look at design and innovation. What is the relation? The materials. Now, many of here of now, for you to be able to innovate, you must have an innovative idea first. Then you are able to produce a design. With that design, what is why we have our 3D printer here. So we'll be able to from idea of what you have. Aspect of design comes in. Now you may have an amazing unable to communicate that your idea properly to where people will most area of hardware is very design software to generate your ideas and sell your ideas. You will not need manufacturing but without your design first, you'll be able to put the idea across you want to speak with or sell the idea to. Now, telling us how the foundation of engineering. We started from the computer-aided design. The computer-aided design helps us to be able to generate our innovative ideas. We'll be able to communicate properly what we have to the world. The process of manufacturing starts from your design to manufacturing. You cannot have any my lips is very dry. Okay, before you go into your prototyping, you must design helps you to be able to communicate. As a student, a lot of things has been said about what you can actually use glass for, the innovation that goes into it. But I know that while you are there, you what can I? You must. What is your contribution to the society? Now, you may not buying products or start buying components to build that idea and the design. You'll be able to communicate companies that will be able to help you to do that. How to communicate your ideas. You will not be able to sell it because it's going to take a whole lot of time for you to go into the manufacturing, and the manufacturing is very expensive. Now, we know that about 63%, recorded that about 63% average gain in using the computer-aided manufacturing tools. But not only that, being able to use the right tools effectively with members. Also, you a lot. Okay, that's why my lips are right. We are trying to introduce you to this amazing software. This is a based software that helps you to collaborate anywhere in the world. This opportunity gives you it gives you that opportunity to collaborate even with people that are not in Nigeria. You'll be able to collaborate with people that are outside the class space. What we are talking about with Fusion 360, develop your innovative ideas. Interest to go into a seeking. But design that will help you to communicate your ideas. Innovate using. Now, you may not be able to communicate effectively. Fusion 360 has three major. That is the integration. It integrates different manufacturing processes that we have, starting from the subtractive aspect. Now we have the collaboration also. You've been able to collaborate with different stakeholders around the world. You can be working with different companies around the world. You may not even have worked with. Using this software, the person will know what you are doing, what you are innovating in real time, because it's a software. And now, different design softwares that we have, like we have SolidWorks, Inventor, and the rest of them. You discover that if you're working with Inventor or SolidWorks, you must go with your Fusion 360. You'll be able to access your design anywhere in the world if you just have your password and your username. So you don't need to. If there is any damage to the hardware, your softwares and your designs are still intact. You can access it anywhere. Now, Fusion 360 workflow goes through all manufacturing processes that we have, starting from design, where you have the product design. You also have of manufacturing generative design, where the software utilizes the AI power to generate not only while you are working in a traditional design, you work on a particular design and you try to perfect. But using the generative design, you'll be able to generate thousands of design options that you can. All these design options comes with different properties that you can select the one that is more suitable for the particular product you're working on. So it also moves downstream to the manufacturing, the additive manufacturing, which 3D printer is the major one that we have in the area of additive manufacturing. The 3D printer helps you. I will also talk about the 3D printer, but I want to tell you that Fusion 360 has its integration with additive manufacturing and testing and the fabrication and different CAM Now, it is where you design, then you print in a paper, then send it. This time around, you are have the CAD and CAM, where you'll be able to effectively with your design model to the manufacturing process. Fusion 360 helps us to be able to generate our 3D models from our 2D drawings. Unlike many of us have used AutoCAD, you discover that AutoCAD you're able to develop, even though you can do something but it has what you can actually do with AutoCAD. But with Fusion 360, it gives goes downstream to not only you developing your model, but also goes downstream to your simulation, your animation, and different other options that are very much important in be able to in getting information about engineering. So you have metric modeling, be able to develop your 2D mechanism, sheet metal components, and the rest of them. Then you also have the electromechanical design using the Fusion 360. Because Fusion 360 has also fusion electronics embedded. Most of the things that we have now are integrated. You have, initially cars are purely mechanical. You have just the mechanical parts and the combustion engine and the rest of them. But now we have integration of the electrical aspect. And even the electrical aspect are somehow taking over the mechanical aspect. So that is where the electromechanical is very, because most of the new products or the new generation products that you'll be working definitely going to be not just only mechanical engineering, but an integration of different engineering process like the electromechanical aspect, where you bring in not both the aspects, the electronics and also the mechanical components. So with the software also, you'll be able to develop your PCB, your printable circuit board. You have you'll be able to analyze the performance of your product. If we have mechanical engineers or the engineering students here, you'll be able to understand that it is very important that you're able to simulate your design before manufacturing. If you're unable to simulate your design before manufacturing, you cannot be able to predict what is going to be the outcome of that particular design. But the software gives you the ability to be able to develop your design, simulate also your design, even without producing anything. You are not producing anything, but you know that if I design this table, this is how this table is going to function when so-so load is placed on it. It will show you that the table is going to buckle, is going to break, is going to fracture at any point. That is what the simulation helps us to do. Get information and be able to predict how our design is going to function in real life. So, like I mentioned before, that it integrates different manufacturing processes. We have the 2.5 axis CNC. We have 3D. We have different axis manufacturing processes. You also not just integrating it, but you'll be able to have a simulation, a kind of animation of how the manufacturing process is going to go. You also be able to develop your two parts. So if you are working with a CNC, you'll be able to develop your G codes depending on the particular form your CNC requires. You'll be able to develop your G code, your two parts, and also see how the particular design that you have is going to be manufactured from the stock. So, like I mentioned before, that we have what we call the digital transformation. Moving on, we are experiencing advance in technology. Initially, we are talking about the traditional method of manufacturing, design, where an engineer is working on a design and try to make it better. But this time around, we are looking at how we can utilize the power of design options. Now, it is not that your client may ask you to develop a particular product and you just have one. But this time around, you have considerations, either lightweight, different properties that you want. You key it into the software. The software is able to develop thousands of design options using different properties. So, idea how the software. So we also have part consolidation. What we have in the traditional manufacturing is we have different parts that we bring together, then we now assemble them. But this time around, we are looking at part consolidation, where instead of having different parts that are assembled together, we have just one part that serves the same purpose. So it reduces the time we spend in manufacturing our products. This is a typical example of the generative design. Let me show us a little bit. Now, with the design, you'll be able to identify the that you want to preserve. Identify also the different obstacles that you don't want to affect. You determine what is the property that is, what is. You have to be able to calculate different design options that you have. What is the conditions, the properties you are looking for? You also be able to identify what kind of manufacturing process do you want to use. Additive manufacturing. You just key in this information to the software. Now, the software will run and generate. The software will generate different design options. Now, with this, you will be able to select the ones that are more suitable for you. Looking at their objective, their properties, both strength and the rest of them. So you can test each of these design. You can see how organic that design looks. That is the future of design. That is the future of manufacturing. Not we have on the traditional method of manufacturing, but we have organic designs that are more unique. Be able to identify the properties even before design, even before manufacturing, and that is what on the area of simulation-driven design. This is a typical example of a generative design product. I know many of us have not seen something like this, and you will be wondering, what kind of manufacturing process are we going to use to produce this? There are different manufacturing processes that we can use for this. We can actually use additive manufacturing, we can use casting, and we can also use CNC. Different values. Generative design gives us different values. Performance, increase the productivity, and also reduce costs. So I also talk a little bit about the additive, because it is part of the integration that we have. We all know I think I have a lot of things to show here, but we all know that the 3D printer is basically used for prototyping. Now, for you to be able to achieve what you have on your design, you must have a prototype. Using any other manufacturing process for your prototyping is very expensive, and that is why additive manufacturing is the easiest way to have your rapid prototyping. You can finish your design today and be able to see what you design using that machine you have at the back. So, let me just round up a little bit. So, we have here, there are a lot of things you can use the 3D printer for. We have the 3D printer used in the automotive, in the healthcare, manufacturing, construction, healthcare also. So, just round up. Different companies in Nigeria that are actually using Fusion 360 products. We were able to visit this company, I think, yesterday, and you can see this is indigenous manufacturing taking place in Nigeria. The manufacturing moving from your design mass production. Most of the meters that we use are being manufactured by this company, and they make use of the software Fusion 360 for their design. So we also have some other success stories using Fusion 360. At the end of this, I want to talk about how you are able to develop a particular solution. Now, for you to be able to develop a solution, you must have an innovative idea. If you have an innovative idea, you will look for a way to develop a design of that idea. Now, the software Fusion 360 gives you that opportunity to develop your design. Another thing you need to do is to have a physical prototype that you can show someone. If I want to design maybe a gas leakage monitoring system, I have the design in my mind. I need a prototype I will show the investors that this is what I want to produce. It is very cheap for you to have a prototype. And it is very good for you to be able to communicate your design ideas. Now, with that prototype, you can now move on to what? To mass production. So that is all. Our purpose for being part of this is to inspire you, is to engage you, and to also prepare you. So we'll be having different training sessions. You can go at the back and write your name if you want to learn more about this Fusion 360. We'll be willing to guide you properly, even also on the additive manufacturing aspect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate your time. So I just wanted to clarify on just one thing around this presentation, which is simply the idea of design. At Autodex, of course, if you know Autodex, you know that there are solutions for architectural, building, energy, bridges, highways, even as high as water, highway, and you could be able to simulate situations like just any kind of environmental situation. So this is one of our technologies, but specifically for product and hardware design. So as it applies to maybe modeling products that are made of glass. So in this kind of technology, you are able to design them in 2D and digitally prototype. I think someone mentioned about fanfare building and the importation of glasses, which in actual sense you could have sat down here in Nigeria, designed it, analyze it thoroughly in your design, in your computer, simulate any kind of scenario, waterways, storms, snow, air kind of vibrational, and the result. And 3D printing is just one of the examples of ways you can now say, I want to see how this looks. Of your theory, but that's the essence, and help you design anything at all. All right, from the camera to phones, whatever, and then 3D printing is one of those manufacturers help you have a feel of what you're designing. So later on, I see that there are a lot of people from the building here. There are also solutions for buildings and building simulations. That's something you can also learn from Costech. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let us appreciate Autodesk and Costech, please. A round of applause for them. A round of applause for them. Yeah. Please don't forget, we still have that 3D demonstration, as had been mentioned earlier. And of course, they've told you, as students, you can register with them so that you can benefit from having the software. This concept of Fusion 360 is something that's very important that could benefit you, at least for the future. Then we shall move on our program. Let me invite Professor Adebisi to come and deliver his lecture on entrepreneurship and skills development. Professor Sunday Abayomi, I believe he's in our midst. Thank you very much, sir. You are welcome, sir. You are welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I should believe that people will put that out for me. I sent it earlier. Okay, can we have it pulled out? circularity of glass and its potential. Am I going to have it or?
Mr. Wali, lecture or Professor Ademisinko? Don't you have it?
Okay, all right. The circularity of glass and potential. By the time my slide comes on, I was trying to ensure that we sit in this, begin to involve circularity of glass. Mentioned that this is versatile its quality of purity.
Is it with you now? Okay. Who asked you to come here? Wait, you will come to tell you what it is.
Supposed to look
Last year.
the business opportunities that are resident and for all of us.
Tyria, hello, Kulaja, can do the program.
I'm just coming into the country, so maybe it's supposed to have come before other presentations. So I was saying that glass is a versatile material that can be 100% recycled, which
no, you just send it to me now.
So when you look at history of the world, glass is the pioneer, and today it's supposed to be taking all the layers to move about. It can be very very cumbersome or fragile. But again, when you look at its friendliness to the environment, you will see that glass is very friendly to the environment. Packaging material. It is 100%. So it's that in Africa and the world, and you discover that it's not well. And because we've not really how we can circular. I was trying to look at the glass recycling volume. Okay. They are not seeing my voice. Okay. So, be the third to that slide, please. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. So when you look at the glass recycling volume in the world, you discover that which is talking about the amount of glass really glass waste that is collected and processed into collect from making other glasses in the world. Let's look at Europe. Europe has actually done pretty well. That is on the third slide.
Yes, people with you. People are with you, following you, sir.
When you look at that, you see that the average
doing night. The kind of thing, you know, the ecosystem. All that produce a recycle back. And when you look at North America too, they're doing average of 33%, which while some countries in the United States are already doing as much as 98%, and I want us to pay attention to this. That's a country like California and Connecticut and Michigan. So, and what happened is that there is bottle bill law in some of these countries, in some of these states. There is bottle bill law in California. There is bottle Connecticut, where they are now doing almost 98%, you know, glass recycling. I want us to pay attention to that. I will make reference to that when I'm closing. And when you look at the Asia Pacific, they are doing average of 40%. And when you look at Japan and South Korea, they're already doing 80%. They too have very strong policy in Japan and South Korea. And China, that, you know, as massive as China is just doing 10%. Why, you know, China is heavy in plastic production. So when you talk about Africa, unfortunately, and that's the reason I appreciate the organizer of this kind of event, because data for Africa is difficult to gather. So I think one of the things I want to slam on the organizer of this event is that can we now begin to get data for Africa? It's partially available. So when you look at Africa, like I put in there, difficult to measure, but it's within 10 to 20%, you know, circularity. South Africa, in Africa, is the one that is actually leading with already recycling about 42% of the glass, you know, available in its ecosystem. But in Nigeria, we are just doing between 10 to 15%. And what is very funny is that there are 640,000 tons of glass in this nation every year. 640,000 tons. And it's only between 64 96,000 tons that are recycled. You can imagine the opportunity resident here in Nigeria. You can imagine the opportunity in job creation, in, you know, economic development, if attention is actually focused in here. Give me the next slide, please. Next slide. The guys there are so distracted. Can you give me the next slide, please? All right. We are talking about, you know, designing a very modest kind of glass recycling business model that, you know, can be by everyone, and that, you know, practitioners, players, and companies, or students that want to continue to do research in this space can just, you know, and which is called the production. We know there are dimensions into, which is what raw material good production that you take them into production again for recycling. And the same ones that are getting out the production use, we create towards that we all pushes across, you know, side. That I gather together in my home, it is possible for me to deposit it in a particular identified arena where I can get, you know, mileage for it. The mileage may be a ticket for me to use the blue of Lagos, maybe 50 bucks to and fro to a week. I gather a bottle. It can give me 2 weeks free transportation on the blue line. Then continue to gather the bottles. I'm going to bring the bottle to wherever, and it will become a cost. Just very close production of glass within the ecosystem, and that 640,000 tons, we may be able to move so many of them, around and recycle them. And one thing that we've known about glass is that it can be recycled 50 times with 100% of it, recycled without a waste. That's the only, kind of a substance in the ecosystem that can be recycled up to that kind of extent. Give me a slide, please. Finger of the computer there. All right. The benefit of circularity. I think I have just one slide more. The benefit of glass circularity. It adds, I think before the benefit, there were some challenges I talked about. I hope benefit of go back to the benefit. Go back to the benefit. Okay. So it has to know great environment. And as you can see, recycling glass will reduce the need for extracting new raw materials, and it will save energy and natural resources. 100% of every bottle that you pick can be 100% recycled. So you don't need to add anything to it. So if you pick one, you have the capacity of another 1,000 of from that. So that shows to us that we can reduce the cost of energy and our climate footprint. The economic benefit, recycling glass can lower the cost of production for manufacturer, as using recycled glass, also known as the cullet, is cheaper and more efficient than using virgin materials, because to just pick them, take them through the furnace and you get produce another material. You talk about the social benefit, and we say recycling glass can foster a sense of community and responsibility among consumers who will participate in deposit return scheme. Like I said, everyone will to act responsibly within the society. And just because we've understood it, we know for sure that we'll save the environment if we do it, and somewhat people can begin to earn social economy too from such stimulation, such as is being done there today. The innovation now being created, and the need now for a lot of innovation ideas that can bridge. This again is benefit. We all adopt what is being pushed in this gathering. Next slide. Okay. Check some of the barriers I wish we equally need to pay attention to, especially people that want to be involved, and the barriers we need to scale for us to be able, to engage in the circularity of glass in a way and manner that it will be productive to the nation, and it will save us a lot of challenges in the environment. Lack of infrastructure. Yes, the infrastructure is not because many countries in Africa will lack this adequate to collect, separate and process glass efficiently. So there will be need for us to scale over the infrastructure challenges. We must begin to look at how we syndicate funds together, collaborate together to syndicate funds that can create very good infrastructure, because if you say that the society should live by now gathering, bottle glasses, for recycling, at the end of the day, we begin to do that, and we do it in a mass volume, and there is no infrastructure, to process it. It's going to constitute another nuisance. Quickly, we scale over that. And lack of incentives. We need to design incentives of how do we want to partner with the blue vehicle, the blue buses in Lagos. So that's okay. I want to be off taker of bottles, and Lamata, I will behind this as many people as possible that can bring probably 200 bottles to Lamata environment person ticket of to be able to go from Ikoro Yaba for 3 days. I will pick the bottle from you. I will pay for the ticket. But let citizens begin to drop this bottle in here so that they can get ticket and I can begin to pick them. So a citizen will just understand what go behind the scene. Is that if I have 200, I can freely be on buses 10 times in a week. So for every bottle they find in the environment, to ensure that they bring it where they can get ticket. End of the day, incentive can build an ecosystem for proper collaboration is equally a challenge. All of us have to overcome. We have to collaborate to the manufacturers, the retailers, the distributors, then society. We all need to collaborate together. Very important. Absence of enabling. 8% circularity of glass is already taking place, and the bottle bill is what is driving. And we need. We're here together today. Different people, academia, industry, individuals. The glass industry players. Can we push for kind of a bottle bill? In Nigeria, we may think it's not possible, but I think we can. And that may make us, responsibly, and we begin well in glass circularity. Can you give me the last slide? Not this one, please. Sorry. Okay. Potential benefit if Nigeria circularity. So the potential, last slide. The potential benefit if Nigeria as a nation pays attention to glass circularity. Definitely, it's a new job and and income. Look at it, 640 ton of glasses in terms of waste are generated in this nation every year, and only between 60 and 90,000 tons can be recycled. Take that away from 640, there's about 500,000 tons left. You can imagine if all of those things can be taken up, it generates a lot of jobs. It's going to generate a lot of income for people that will be players in that. And I say it's going to save costs and resources, especially for manufacturing companies. They will have an opportunity to recycle whatever they're using at a very lower cost, rather than using some other virgin resources or producing glass right from the income is innovation, which is the one now we're talking about in this. Can come together, researchers come together and see what we can glasses we pick. We want to begin to produce several materials that we have never thought about. Whether used in the automobile industry, used as house, product, or used as office equipment, or for you guys in building, architect. There will be a lot of innovation that will come out of it. And the environmental and social outcomes. Definitely, we're going to save our environment. Definitely, we're going to live responsibly, and the glass waste in the environment, will be reduced, and all of us from proper and social outcome from it. So, of course, to see this beautiful, that we all need to pay attention, and we all need to come and be part of the players in the circularity of. I know for sure that it's going to a new Nigeria society.
Hello. All right. Thank you, Prof. That's Professor Sunday Adebisi from Arua Center for Entrepreneurship and Skill Development, University of Lagos. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. Very educative. Now we move to the next presenter. We move to the next presentation from Jamin Autos. Jamin Auto Centers, please. Jamin Auto Centers. Jamin Auto Centers, please come up for your presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Okay, my name is Sandra Prince Equipment, the service HOD of Jermaine Auto Center. So I'm here to represent Jermaine. A lot of us have said more about electric vehicles, about its properties, things it can do differently. But I'm very excited about the Okay, let's see what we have. So, like I've shown on because innovative step be friendly because choose we are high and so having problems that we know is a good thing to deliberate on and enhance on. Glass is manufactured from silicon. We all the people, the last speaker, the people, statements on that. But the good thing about the recycling prop, which is close to 100%. So with that, there is an elimination of waste, muda. So this for me, so that and that main auto center be very supportive. The IT student, both electrical presently so we try to support them, take them through the training on EV vehicles and its effects that has to do in collaboration with the glass. Like we know, the new Tesla and other EV, most of them have the glass roof, which helps with energy retention needed because the system of those EV cars and help with the cooling system too to give you a comfort drive. So we come to this innovation, we support the young ones here, the team, internship, anything we can do collectively, we can enhance production or not in Nigeria. So that's it. Then aside that, we have for display demo on the Prado, the new launch, the Jetto, an intelligent vehicle with a very cost-effective way of maintenance. We have good after-sales support on that. Here, the service and the customer service lead. For any of your car need, you can reach out to us at Jermaine, service, swap, spare parts. Happy to help you. You can reach us too on 080-3545-16 and for your internship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amin Otto. Thank you, Jermaine. Presentation. So for your auto service, they say they are available for you. Now we have the MD of Nord here with us, Nord Automobiles, Nigeria. We'd like you to come up for a short presentation under 5 minutes. Please, a round of applause for MD Nord Automobile. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I have a loud voice, so I may not use this. Thank you very much. So, glass is one of the oldest innovations in more than 3,000 years old. And for us in Africa, in Nigeria, for example, we are still talking, and okay, I'll use this. Oh, okay. We're still how to make and why. I've said this a lot of times. This just shows, this depicts how far we are behind. But that's not the issue. We're here to have the conversation on how to solve that problem, how to take our place rightly in the world, when I was building one of our showrooms in Lagos, we have one in University of Lagos. Who have seen the showroom and factory in University of Lagos? I hope you guys love it. If you love it, please clap for please. Thank you very much. So when we're trying to build one of the showrooms, we had to get glass, of course. And that was when I realized how much of the work we needed to do. We had to go on a very long queue because only companies were making the glass in Lagos State, and only one more in Abuja. So basically, in Africa's biggest economy, only 3 companies were making glass. It didn't make sense to me. I thought the contractor was lying. I had to find out myself. Then when you do the analysis, and that's why it takes time. You can, if you order for a glass, it can take months before it gets to your turn, because we have the volume in the country, the demand is there, but the manufacturers of this glass do not exist. Now, why is this the case? It looks like a no-brainer. There's a market, but there's no supply. The major reason, which is why we're having this forum, and I thank the organizers, and one of the reasons why we built the Innovation Center and assembly plants in this university, is because generally, for some reasons I do not understand now, our mindset is about trade. We just want to trade. We want to buy, we want to sell. We do not want to go through the of actually making things, of actually manufacturing things. But no country, no great country like ours, we have a very huge population, we have a huge economy, is going to be as great as we should be by just trading. So one way or the other, we have to start making our own things. Starting from forums like this. We did one sometime last year at the main auditorium, and I was there. And because of that discussion, my company and some other people interested in the glass have started some discussions, basically. And very soon, like I promised the then VC and now the new VC, very soon, inside this campus, we will start making glass. So we have a lot to do as a country. We have a lot to do as citizens of this great country. But we have to build our sets. Things that with our countries have a core interest as a country, as Nigeria. Every country in the world has their own national interest, what they want, which every policy, every plan is derived from that interest. So sometimes we have to ask ourselves and those who lead us, what is our national interest? Where does Nigeria stand in the world? Where are we moving? Because the whole world is moving left, doesn't mean we have to move left. Where does it benefit us? What do we need to do to benefit every citizen in this country? And I can tell you and I that one sure way, there are so many ways to skin a cat, but one sure way is to industrialize this country. And you cannot industrialize if you do not have glass, if you do not have metal, if you do not have the basic components. Thank you very much, and I hope to see more support as we make the glass in this country. Thanks.
Thank you so much, MD of Nord Motors. It's to understand that it was a former great university, and now an entrepreneur of automobiles. Put your hands together for him again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now we move to the next presentation from Centurion Systems Africa. Centurion Systems Africa. Centurion Are they ready? Oh, okay. Sorry. Thank you for coming. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ademola from St. John Systems, West Africa. I believe we're supposed to play like a short clip of who accompanied it. Who is supposed to show that video? Well, we're basically an access and control manufacturing company with head office in Italy, South Africa, and with a branch here now in Nigeria. Nigeria is actually the only country that has a branch of this company outside the operating countries. So it is actually a feat that we were able to achieve about 11, 12 years ago. Centurion has been, okay, that's the video, so let's just watch the video.
Years, a lot has happened. A modern renaissance of great thinkers and innovative companies have completely changed the way we live our lives. Advancements in technology and the explosion of the internet have made the world a much smaller place, allowing individuals to connect with our world in ways that would have been impossible before. Things that we had before have been replaced, updated, renewed and reinvented. Centurion Systems' 30 years of commitment to compelling innovation in access automation has opened the doorway to a more convenient, simpler, better life. But what does compelling innovation mean? It is engineering new systems and technologies that the world didn't realize it cannot live without. New ways of providing people with security and peace of mind. Using technology to support us in engineering a less complicated life. Developed and manufactured in Africa. Tried and tested to withstand the harshest conditions. And exported all around the world. We've innovated new ways to perfect our products, to meet and exceed the highest standards, through precision, new ways to test them, ensuring peace of mind, so that they work when you need them most. We've even innovated the way we implement and install these products, creating convenience, intelligent, feature-rich technology allows us to carry on with life. With certainty that everything is as it should be. Knowing that we aren't in for any surprises. At Centurion, we believe in looking after our family so that they can look after yours. Centurion is not only about market share, not just about cutting-edge technology or industry-acknowledged design. It's not just about power, speed, not just about durability or safety, not just about peace of mind. Centurion is about compelling innovation and knowing that it can change the world.
I know a lot of people might not understand a lot of things that they've seen in the video. We'll basically, try and explain to the best of my ability. So basically, we are an access control and automation company, manufacturing company. Everything is wholly manufactured in-house. We have a full-fledged research and development center that manufactures all these products. It is actually being manufactured in Africa for Africa, and it's been exported to, like you've seen, worldwide. Now, we are constantly working with the architect. Is mostly used. It's more manageable. Use it in buildings. Most of the things that allow people to run away from glass of it. Glass is very fragile and also very heavy. So where people are able to shy away from using glass, they do, and like aluminum, plastic, and some other materials. Now, for example, as you can see, building in now, because of maintenance problems. How do I get to the top, right? And that is where companies like ours come in. We make easy. We're able to make glass movable. The glasses can move from up to down. We're able to equipment that can actually aid in conjunction with the architecture and architectural firms to develop things that aid and facilitate the use of glass. Then we can now talk about how and a cleaner environment. Now also, apart from us aiding the architectural firms and industry, we also, in all our equipment, in the manufacture of light emitting diodes, photoelectric diodes, found in this screens, our LED displays, a lot of things, a lot of our equipments and actually the things we sell actually have a lot of glass in them. In the video, you ran in between the gates and then the gate stopped, right? It's actually what we call a photo cell. It's made and it works solely on reflection and light emitting from glass. This is the extent to which glass is used, right? There is no extent. It lasts forever. Glass is something you put table and it's there for years. If you don't degenerate, it doesn't disintegrate, it remains molecular. That in things that use glass, you can have less on all these and everywhere. Pollution all over the place. So basically, this is how we are actually integrated into this project. So the support for the in our community and in our world. Thank you.
Thank you, Centurion, for the presentation. Now we move to the final presentation for today. I call on Apron to come up for their presentation. Apron. Thank you.
Good afternoon. You kindly permit me to stand on existing protocol and say thank you very much for having me here. I'm so happy to be here with you today. My name is Ibukun Falui, and I'm the Executive Secretary of EPRON, that's E-Waste Producers Responsibility Organization of Nigeria. And to briefly talk about my topic for today. So EPRON Responsibility Organization that was set up by producers of electrical and electronic equipment, essentially to implement what we call the Extended Producer Responsibility Program in the sector, and also to ensure that electronic waste is recycled in an environmentally sound manner. So quite enough of electronic waste. And then we wonder what we're supposed to do with it. So our organization has responsibility for making sure that e-waste is managed accurately. Today, my topic is basically talking about how to have innovation in the building systems by responsible e-waste management. Now, I've talked a little bit on those, and it's going to just clearly move into the topic of today. And when we talk about e-waste, because this is a school environment, most of us are familiar with it, so I may not need to be defining it anymore. We all know example, I take like a study of the number of people that use washing machines now, and we compare them to the number of people that are using washing machines like 10, 15 years ago. We found out that there's a lot more people, and since we have more people using electrical and electronic equipment, it means that e-waste is going to keep growing and exponentially like it's already doing. So a lot of people say it's the fastest growing waste stream in the world. If you look at the projection for this year, it's said that about 61.3 million metric tons of electronic waste is going to be generated in this 2023 year alone. So we can see that it's really a major problem. Now the question is, when we look at it, it also contains a lot of complex materials. What is the solution to these electrical and electronic waste that we are generating? What's the way forward? How do we manage it? It's very complex. It has a lot of hazardous materials in it. But the good thing is that it also has a lot of valuable materials in it. And one of the valuable materials that we have in electronic waste is glass. If you look at the composition of e-waste that is recycled in batches in recycling centers, you find out that glass makes up about 30% of the material composition of electronic waste. So there's really a lot of material resources there.
I'm Maddie Gianni from Corning Incorporated, and this is Inspired by Glass.
One of the things that glass for me is useful,
for the past 10 years, we've delivered protection from drops, bumps, and scratches with Corning Gorilla Glass, the leading smartphone cover glass, which has been featured on more than 5 billion consumer electronic devices. But Gorilla Glass's optical clarity, damage resistance, thinness, and durability don't just apply to consumer electronics anymore. Gorilla Glass is changing the rules of interior architecture. Manufacturers such as Elevecture are teaming up with Corning to deliver innovative solutions for architects and designers for more design freedom and a modern yet durable solution. Today, Corning's Gorilla Glass has been installed in a variety of spaces, such as elevator interiors and lobbies, as a customizable, clean, and elegant solution. To showcase some of these innovative applications, I'm here in New York City at 740 Broadway to see how Corning and Elevecture are enhancing interior spaces. Elevecture is a New York City-based company which laminates Gorilla Glass to a variety of materials, such as metal, wood, and even fabric, to create products such as lighting and panels for elevator interiors and lobbies like the one I'm in right now. Let's talk with Keith Glevins, the Commercial Director of Architecture at Corning. How are Corning and Elevecture transforming the architecture industry?
With architects and designers, anytime you bring in new materials, they love it because they really are artists and they're always looking for something new and different. So in combination with Elevecture, we've been able to introduce architectural solutions that really allow them the freedom that they always desire without changing their view and what they want to achieve.
What's next in architectural solutions from Corning?
Well, Maddie, as you know, whenever Corning enters a business or a space, we tend to completely change it, to alter it. And I'm convinced in architecture, where we've only been in this a short while and you can see the result of things that we've already done, that we're just getting started. The things we're going to bring to this market, the changes we're going to make, the creativity and the freedom we're going to bring to architects is going to be truly amazing.
I'm joined by Leanne Friedman, president of Elevecture, to learn more about how Corning and Elevecture are elevating interior spaces to new levels. Leanne, how is Corning Gorilla Glass enabling Elevecture to transform traditional materials into state-of-the-art architectural finishes?
If you have a wood veneer in a building or in an elevator, in a kitchen cabinet, it gets scratched up immediately. With the Corning Gorilla Glass, it becomes much more durable, and you can use it in so many different applications now. It opens doors to using traditional materials where you hadn't been able to use it before. With Gorilla Glass, we've come up with all these new solutions.
Why is Corning Gorilla Glass a practical solution for the architecture industry?
When we walk into an architect's office and we show them different samples of the Corning Gorilla Glass with Elevecture material underneath what we've decided to laminate, there is a look of genuine excitement, possibilities of where they can put this durable, versatile, lightweight, optically clear glass throughout their buildings. Many times they've been limited by their options about the finishes in a building just based on the heaviness and greenness of float glass. But now with Corning Gorilla Glass, the options that they have are limitless in terms of design and what they want to do.
Eric Garral, New York City building developer and owner, joins me here at 740 Broadway, one of more than 40 properties in the Garral family property portfolio. Eric, his father, and his grandfather have been on the leading edge of building design for 3 generations. Eric, you sure do have an eye for cutting-edge design. Thanks so much for inviting us.
Well, thanks for coming.
Why did you choose to use Elevecture's products with Corning Gorilla Glass instead of a product with traditional architectural glass?
Well, I think the challenge here was to make sure that the durability of the glass was going to basically last forever, and Corning really met that challenge, and Elevecture was smart enough to realize that that was exactly what was needed.
What impact have Elevecture's products had on your commercial properties?
Well, it's had a really beneficial impact on the tenants. The tenants really enjoy being in these spaces and seeing the imagery that they have here. And this is something we couldn't do basically without the glass. So we've really seen a positive, reaction amongst the people in the buildings, and that's one of the things that we do as landlords.
Why is Gorilla Glass ideal for architectural spaces, and how has it changed your approach to building development and design?
Well, it's changed our approach in the terms of the tenants really want more light any way they can get it, and the clarity of the glass really does a great job. If you look around this lobby, this was just sort of a space that was designed 25 years ago, and it remained that until now. And now it's a place that people literally stop, and they want to have an experience that they don't normally have and can't get anywhere else in Manhattan. And I think the tenants really love it, and I think we're going to continue to design things, basically to continue to bring light into the spaces, and we're going to continue to use Gorilla Glass.
What other innovative advanced glass technologies are you introducing in your other spaces?
Well, we bought some new property out in the boroughs here, Williamsburg and in Long Island City. So one of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting all of the telecommunications systems sort of redone, and Corning has a product that we think we can use out there, which I think will really do a great job with sort of unlimited bandwidth, which sounds like would be a wonderful amenity to have for our tenants.
The possibilities for interior architecture have been elevated to a whole new level with Corning Gorilla Glass and Elevecture. Architects and designers now have more design freedom and flexibility to create stunning interiors with this lightweight, optically clear, durable material, while still having the ability to enhance environments to fit the style and need of any space. Talk about a perfect fit. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, I'm Maddie GNA, and this is Inspired by Glass.
All these things work together as a system. So I'm going to encourage each and every one of us to look at ways that with our own parts, whether as consumers, as members of the academic community, and what have you, to look at that. And at EPRON, we are very, very open to collaboration. I will implore all of us to check out our website, www.epron.org.ng. And also, you can send us an email. We're looking forward to partnering with students to do a lot of collaborative things to advance the e-waste management in the country, and also to generally work together to achieve our innovation in glass mobility. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Question and answer. There should be questions. You must ask questions.
Said so much about e. Sure, very many of us don't really know what.
So e-waste is electrical and electronic equipment that are no longer functional and not intended for reuse. And a lot of things in this place will eventually constitute e-waste: the air conditions, our phones, our laptops, cables, and so many things in our day-to-day, the bulbs, the fluorescent tubes, different things like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any yeah, students, please take note. Take note that the 3D practical demonstration up for you to see, because sometimes when you hear the word 3D, you may be thinking paper, but this time around we are talking of something more like bricks. Is it possible that you have a printer that prints buildings like this? Of course, it is possible. And of course, Autodesk and Ecostech are here to demonstrate that practically for your, knowledge and, understand, for your learning. At the same time, we have a barcode here for those students that have interest to partake in this X lab or Mobility X. Anyone that you have interest in to be part of, you can just snap this code chart and of course you can belong to that. I want to believe that information. So let me invite him to come and speak to the audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I want to say that it is the people that stay to the last that will probably enjoy. So I want to congratulate each and every one of you for staying to the end, because it is not good enough to start the beginning of a journey and not see to the end. You must stay strong to the end. And it's when you get to the end that you get all the prizes. So I want to announce to you also now that you are free to join any of these. We have the mobility, the Urban Lab, Urban X Lab, and the Mobility X Lab. Now, the Urban X Lab is all about the built environment. So if you like buildings, you like structures, you like anything that has to do with glass facade, you can join this lab, because it's a place where you can express all your ideas, and then we will try to get you joined to funders. It's a place where you can get internships, like the lady that came from Horizontal Tempering Glass. They have internship positions for students, and it's a paid internship. So when you get to this place, you'll be trained, and then you also get paid. And then when you finish, we also have lined up for you free master's and postgraduate courses that you can go and take abroad. That is if you demonstrate that you have to I will enjoy to make sure you scan code that here and join the lab and say which I want to join the Urban X Lab, and you say your name. And then also with the Mobility X Lab, that is all about the automotive industry. Like you also met or you saw the no, we'll just do something. The MD of Nord has said he also has internship spaces for anybody that is interested. They already have a location within the university. You can see it on campus. It is near the AP gas station. So they already have internships. They also have scholarships, and there are also master's and PhD programs that you can take if you are interested and if you have the capacity to do so. So those are the very important things that you need to note. And then after you finish with Autodesk over there, Autodesk has promised us to give each student that is interested to get free software for Fusion 360. That's why you see Fusion, okay, yeah. That's why you see Fusion 360 there. So you go to them and you register. When you register, you also have free classes. And then I believe some, even myself, that's the first time I've seen a 3D printer in Nigeria. I'm not saying abroad though. I've seen 3D printers abroad, but I've not seen one actually working here in Nigeria. And then you have it there. If you guys do well enough and you impress AutoCAD, they will come and build an AutoCAD university campus here in this place. So it is all up to you. It is not about throwing money at a problem. If you do not show your interest, nothing is going to happen. Autodesk is not going to bring all its resources to people who are not interested in, innovation or even what they are doing. So I enjoin you all to take the opportunities that you have now so that you can have a better tomorrow. It is all for your good that we are here. And after we finish the vote of thanks, we have some snacks downstairs for you. So you take the snacks and your drinks, but you leave everything in the dustbins in this building. I don't want any litter outside, please. We are talking about being sustainable, so let us make sure everything is clean. Even your surrounding, as you are going, look left, look right, pick any paper that you see, pack it up in a pile, just leave it on your desk So thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and then we see you next year, 2024.
Yeah, thank you very much. As Architect Okulaja is speaking, in our midst today, we have Architect Okulaja's parents, Baba and Mama. They both of them are here. Can you please give them a round of applause? Yeah. Thank you very much. And as they stay through the program, Baba would like to give us a word of advice. Let's hear from the elders. Thank you very much.
Not good evening, good afternoon. Not a word of advice, but a question.
Okay, sir.
Apex, is it Apex? Sir?
Autodex.
The last presenter.
Apron. Yeah, apron.
Apron was
on e-waste.
Apron Seaway. Yes, Apron was the only presenter that made mention of climate change. When I was studying meteorology, late 50s, we started with ozone layer. That was when climate change got notice. I was abroad, not here. What is glass? What is the role that glass is going to play in climate change?
Yes, ma'am. Did you get the question? The role glass is going to play in climate change. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. So, for my own knowledge, I would like to say that if glass is sustainably used, it's going to serve very well to reduce climate change. And why would I say that? If we look at the impacts, the climate change impacts of most of the other materials that are used alongside glass for packaging, you see that glass does have a lower impact in terms of the material manufacturing and also the use in the system, because it's not single use. If it's well used, it can be recycled and taken back into the system, just cleaned and then reused again. So it has like a lower CO2 emissions footprint, so it can serve that purpose. Then also, if it is adequately recycled eventually, then you see that when we are looking at the energy use that is associated with making fresh glass from the beginning, because it's quite energy intensive, the process of manufacturing glass in the first place. So if we get that system right and we sustainably recycle it, the entire value chain, then we see that we're going to reduce a lot of climate change impact. And if you notice the trend, one of the reasons why last year was chosen as the International Year of Glass is because the international community is trying to sensitize us to the value of glass as something that can help us to reduce the effects of climate change in the society. So definitely glass has a very important role to play if we harness it appropriately.
Thank you very much. I hope we get that response clearly, because also, as earlier mentioned, if you look at the life cycle, in the long run, no matter what the initial cost could be, glass stands to be a better material, more sustainable than any other material that we are familiar with. And of course, its application, it's universal. Application of glass is universal. I mentioned earlier, you can imagine what you can do without your phone. What could you do without your phone? And of course, one of the key components in phone manufacturing today is glass. And what are we talking about when you say glass, glass, glass? We are talking of sand, silica. So you, as youth as you are, think about it, that sand can become this clear, substance that makes, energy more efficient in all that we do. Think it out as you can become, think of you yourself becoming an innovator, somebody that's going to have a patent right. You see, you students should be thinking in that direction. Meanwhile, as Baba was speaking, we have this opportunity for our students. Those of you that may be thinking of having an internship in terms of industrial training, if you want to have your industrial training with a Germain Auto Center, it is not impossible you have that opportunity. I mentioned earlier, when they mention auto, cars, it is not all about the cars, that vehicles that you are seeing here. I'm telling you, categorically, that most of these car manufacturers, they are also manufacturers of lifts that you find in buildings, escalators, you see, some of those things. So you need to understand. So it is not impossible. Of course, you can have your training in some of these organizations. So if you want to have your internship or industrial training in Germain Auto Center, you can call this number. This is Sandra Prince Ekweme. You can put down the number. You wouldn't know who will need it to, or you may use it to help your friend. If not, even if you don't need it. 080. We have the authority to announce the number. 080 3545 1696. Again, 080 3545 1696. Sandra Prince Ekweme. I believe if you call, she'll be able to assist. As we draw the curtain on today's program, I could see some of the students, whether they are registering or the process of the 3D printing is ongoing, which we want our students to actually see physically so that you understand the concepts of 3D printing. Let me use this opportunity to invite our dean to come and give us the vote of thanks. Professor Omiri, thank you, ma.
It's a fantastic thing that we have had the patience to stay till the very end. I think we should give ourselves a round of applause. Thank you very much. First, we want to thank God who gave us this day and who gave us good weather. How many of you remember that yesterday it rained cats and dogs?
Yes.
We really were anxious that today should be clear, and
honestly,
I thank God that
thank God.
We have sunny weather, beautiful weather.
Very bright.
So thank God
day.
for His mercies.
Thank God.
Secondly, I'd like to thank God for the management of the university, particularly the Vice Chancellor, who graciously granted the use of this facility. Although it's part of the MOU that are between ABDF and the university, that facilities will be provided free of charge. I know that there's been a revision of the policy that at least something must be paid, and she graciously reduced what was to be paid to a very large extent.
Thank you, Madam
She actually
Vice
promised
Chancellor.
to be here, but there's a competing program which is very, very important to the university and has to do with the Fulbright Scholars Program, which kept her from coming. But when we spoke to her 2 days ago, she really expressed interest to be here, and I'm sure she will be very happy to get the feedback that the program was such a success.
Thank God.
Next, I'd like to thank all the deans and the HODs for their cooperation, because when we were asking the deans to please help mobilize their students and all that, they were aware of the fact that students are also under a lot of pressure. Everybody is under pressure. But I'm happy that they did their best, and some of them actually were here. Like you heard a lot from about the HOD of chemistry, and even the former HOD, she was here as well. And some deans from Faculty of Arts, representative of the faculty, of the Dean of Faculty of Arts was here, Professor Laiwola. Next, I'd like to thank ABDF, Board of Trustees, and particularly the chairman of that board, Architect Adeolu Okulaja, for energetically and passionately pursuing this issue of glass innovation. I'd like to thank Mr. Okwobi, who has been a fantastic supporter and a fantastic encourager to us also at this end.
I'm not sure he's still around, but he was here for most of the time and was one of those who did all that was necessary to ensure that the MOU between the university and ABDF became what it is today. There's been a lot of inspiration and a lot of commitment to the progress of students, innovation, research, and productivity in that line. And I want to believe that this will continue as the years roll by. So we thank you very much, Architect Okulaja. We thank you also, Mr. Okuobi. Before I go too far, and so that I don't forget, I want to thank Mommy and Daddy Okulaja for gracing this occasion with their presence. Can we please give them a round of applause? It's not always that you would see parents take so much interest in things of this kind, to the extent of leaving their home and participating. I think I'm very impressed. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma. May you live long to continue to reap the fruits of your labor. Yes, and then I would like to also appreciate all our resource persons. They have been fantastic. Architect Ladi Lewis did a fantastic job talking to us about glass in architectural design construction. And then also we had very, very inspiring talk from Dr. Femi Idowu-Adegoke about recycling. We had very interesting presentations also by Professor Sunday Abayomi Adebisi of the Arua Center for Entrepreneurship and Skills Development. All of them planted something in our lives. As old as I am, although I'm part of this, I've been in this university, this year is my 40th year. I received a lot of inspiration today. And I've taken ideas that probably will help me in my retirement too.
Wow.
So I really thank them for their presentations. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
I was also very glad to see that the MD of Nord Automobiles was here. As has been told, and I want to stress it, he was once a student of this university, carrying his notebooks and pencils and biros, facing the stress of lectures, exams, and everything. He didn't allow everything to go to waste. Look at him. Today, he's into something so profitable, something so good, something so beneficial to the economy.
Manufacturing.
Yes, we are really inspired by him, and I'm glad that he made the time to come. That drives home the point that every student here today has great potential. By God's grace, you will achieve your potential.
Amen.
And
Amen.
it will benefit you forever.
Amen.
Then also we have benefited greatly from the Commissioner, Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, ably represented by Dr. Adeoye, who spoke to us about what the state government is doing and telling us opportunities that they also have on offer for us. Then also we've had the lady from Horizontal Glass Tempering, very interesting talk and very inspiring too. And then the offers of internship. I think students are extremely lucky to be part of this program. So many offers of internship, so many interesting, inspiring things to take away. Autodesk and Costec, I know they have been here since Tuesday. I think we should give them a special round of applause. They flew down from Abuja and brought the equipment, including the 3D printer that they want to demonstrate to us, all the way from Abuja, so that they could be part of this program. They didn't have to do it, but they did it. So we really appreciate them. It's fantastic that they are here, and they have also offered us free software, free training, and free licensing. I think we are extremely lucky indeed. Thank you very much, Costec. Thank you very much, Autodesk. There'll be a lot of mutual benefits by God's grace. Then also we are grateful to Germain Auto Center. I think we should also appreciate them especially. They drove down 2 of their prototype vehicles that are state-of-the-art in several regards. They met with some obstacle at the gate, which is normal because of our security issues. But we thank God they were here. And the vehicles are outside for you to see. to have a feel of and to ask questions. So thank you very much for bringing those vehicles. We are very, very impressed with the fact that you brought them. Hyundai Motors, Nigeria. Unfortunately, the representative had to leave. I think the program was dragging too long for other responsibilities he had. But it will interest you to know that University of Lagos is a proud owner of an electric vehicle displayed outside. They manufactured it, and they were going to come to talk to us about how it works so that we will understand very well all the technicalities. But this particular one was given to the university. Okay. Okay, I should stop now. The university received the car as a gift from the federal government. I think we want to appreciate the federal government also for that. So we have a vehicle, an electrical vehicle. Why? Because we want to inspire students that this has been done. Yes, it was brought from outside. We are doing something. Let's also aspire to make sure that ours beats this quality. And I'm sure if we really put our minds to it, we shall be able to beat that quality. I want to thank everyone that has contributed to the success of this occasion. Okay. Okay, and to the local organizing committee. I am told that Professor Familoni, who used to be our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Research, is online. He would like to say a word or two. So I'm going to pause now for him to please tell us what he has on his mind. Thank you, sir, for coming on board.
Afternoon, everybody. I thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. I've been watching, I've been online to see what's going on. I've been part of the preamble that was given to us on Wednesday to make sure that we are here. However, I'm unable to be here physically. I put a question on the chat. I haven't had all what the glass can do. I think that it's something that we have to do quickly and what Nigeria can benefit from it. These those companies that were manufacturing glass in Nigeria before, I don't know what their status. I don't know for those who are knowledgeable about it. Toyo Glass, there's a glass, there's a one in Oderele. What has happened to them? If what they are manufacturing is off what we are talking about here, maybe they are not as sophisticated. I don't know what can be done to make sure that they diversify to fit what we are looking for, so that we be able to have people employed in those glass industry and also get their products to be useful in Nigeria. So that's my contribution, and I hope that if there's anything the university can do to collaborate to resuscitate all these factories, it will give us, number one, people will get employed. Two, we will be able to get all their products to be useful to us. And if you have the glass in Nigeria, then innovation can happen. If you are just getting the manufactured product alone, you can only use it for what they are using for. But if you have opportunity to have an input into the production, then you'll be able to innovate, to move, to change some things, to get new products. So I thank you very much, the auto glass, their main industry, and all, especially the Baba and Mama that are coming here to encourage young ones that age is not a barrier, and that you can keep on being useful even when you are at old age. Thank you very much, the Dean of Environment, for following up. I hope chemistry will take a very good part of what is happening. I thank you very much for the opportunity. Bye-bye.
A round of applause for Prof, please.
Yes. I want to thank Professor Familoni for that wonderful comment. knowing him for who he is. He's always interested in anything that advances knowledge. So as busy as he is, he could still make time to be listening and to be able to make a comment. Thank you, sir, for being a wonderful example for the rest of us. And your comments are, taken, and I think all of us who are interested and who are researching into these issues will take them to heart and work on them. HOD Chemistry was here earlier. In fact, he stayed almost to the end of the program. And I think 2 or 3 other lecturers also from chemistry, apart from students. So all that has been said. Professor Ashekun was here, must have been carried on also by them. When I was reading out the list of those who have been of benefit to us, I don't believe I mentioned Apron. And the lady, I saw her leaving just now. I hope she can still hear me wherever she is. That we really appreciate their presentation, and particularly the expert way in which he handled all the questions that were raised. Finally, well, not yet finally, I want to thank the auditorial management unit for giving us all the necessary support, and also our men from the CITS who gave us audiovisual support. We really appreciate you. They were given notice only this morning or very late last night, and for them to have been able to get everything together, get them fitted, was a fantastic thing, even though they had competing programs where they had already shared personnel and other resources too. So we appreciate you very much, CITS. We thank you, Mr. Wale, and your team. And finally, I want to thank every student that has come to this program, and especially those who are still here. If you are here, you were here from the beginning. Can I see your hand up? Wow.
Wow.
This is
That's
very
great.
impressive. Just seeing those hands gives me hope for this nation. There's hope for Nigeria.
Yes, so there is hope. Don't just jackpot. There is hope in Nigeria. Don't jackpot.
Fantastic. Yes, don't jackpot. Just stay. Why do I say so? Things are, they seem, it's better, the grass is greener on the other side. But
honestly,
there are challenges.
Everywhere.
There are challenges. People go and they run back. Let's look inwards. Let's see what we can do. Those people, they did something to make their country what it is. Why do we run away from doing what we need to do to make our own country better? We could even be better than them. Let's do what we can. God will give us what we need.
Amen.
So thank you all for being here. Members of the LOC, thank you for your commitment, for your hard work. Dr. Bello, Dr. Shotumbo, Dr. Kukoyi, thank you very much for all the time you have put into this. I must come back again to Architect Adeolu Okulaja, and I pray that your well of inspiration will not run dry.
Amen.
Thank you very much, everyone. We appreciate you.
Thank you, everyone. That's our dean. A round of applause for the dean, please. Round of applause for the dean. Now, as we conclude our program, don't forget on our program, we have the outdoor exhibition and social media activity. As you are going out, ensure that that 3D printing, you are part of it. And as we say the closing prayer, Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. We thank Almighty God for giving us the opportunity to have this program today. God bless each and every one of you. We thank you. We appreciate you. Please, as we proceed, don't forget about this exhibition outside. They are under electric car, and of course the 3D at the back of the hall, and the Jamin Auto. And your refreshments, to take your refreshments to at the back, I believe there is arrangements there.